welcome to the Saladcast on Sunday the 4th of March, 2012.
I'm glad you remembered all those numbers.
This is starting to sound like a professional intro from me.
Yeah.
We are joined today by a slightly different cast today. I think, is this fourth time? Is this the fourth time? Is this the only cast where we've had 4 members on it?
No.
No?
There's one with Eddie, wasn't there?
Oh, that's true. Yeah, in fourth, I think it's the first time we've done it with 4 actual guests in the same room.
Well, we've had Naomi.
We've done it over the internet. No, yes, but she doesn't count.
That's right, okay. Normally I'd be the one saying that.
That's true, but she's not she's in the background shouting things at them.
When she came and sat over here.
That happened?
And did a whole section about Sonic.
That happened?
That was like almost exactly this time last year. I was listening to that podcast last night.
Well,
how can you not remember that? She's talking about Sonic, your favourite goddamn topic ever.
I feel I must reevaluate my life.
That was also the episode where we had to bleep something.
Oh, right, yes. I remember that. Anyway, to sort of clarify what's going on, we are Dan down again because he joined me in London yesterday and he has an awkward new living arrangement. Fuck you, Cambridge.
And no car.
So, without telling him, we're going to go ahead and do an episode anyway. Haha.
Again.
Yeah, so I'm joined today by the wonderful Kippers.
Aye.
And his lovely lady, Jam Jarrr. Hello. Check this out, feminine interest. It's going to happen.
What? Feminine dress?
Interest.
Oh, interest.
No, it's like we've only had that like.
We only had that time with Naomi, yeah.
No, twice. There were 2.
Yeah, at least 2. Well, she's shouted from across the room several times.
Yeah. And you've informed her about her cooking on air several times.
And we've had Ho.
We have had Ho. That was the second official time.
That's her name. I can see what you're laughing at.
Kippers,
Ho.
Kippers, you bastard. So yeah, let's do the news.
Yes,
Who's got news?
I have news. I have theoretical news anyway. It's more like rumours. Well, sort of rumours. That at GDC next week, EA is going to announce SimCity 5.
Oh, I did hear that as well. Yeah.
Holy fuck! It's probably not going to be as good as I hope it would be. Because goddamn EA.
Well, what are the chances of it being SimCity 4 with all the DLC stuff taken out?
So it wasn't very much DLC stuff.
No, they did that like traffic thing.
Yeah, but that wasn't. Well, that wasn't DLC at the time. That was a disc. Like a whole other disc.
A proper expansion, I suppose.
Yeah, an actual expansion.
Yeah.
They can't possibly... Well, it's like, what can you DLC... The only thing that makes sense for DLC, because I guess they have technically done SimCity DLC before, apart from it was free, was like additional landmark buildings, was what they did for 4 and 3.
I guess.
And no one's going to buy those.
Additional crazy superpowers. Well, do you reckon they're going to just be ultra evil and sort of like rip out really important layers? Like they'll forget about the underground piping stuff.
Well, it does. It's just the immediate worry is that they're just going to try and make it like too simple. Because that's just seems to be what happens every goddamn time.
And how many hooks into the Sims are we going to see?
Well, they tried that before and it was shit. It was like, oh, look, you can take a sim from the Sims and move him into a specific house in your city. Wow. Totally pointless.
You can occasionally look it up. What's he done? Oh, he's died.
Yeah, he's moved out. He's left.
He
doesn't like your shit.
He didn't like shit, didn't
yeah.
Well, it's interesting. It's been a while since there's been a good SimCity game.
It's been like 10 goddamn years or something.
Because SimCity 4 wasn't bad.
SimCity 4 was pretty awesome.
It was quite easy for SimCity, but
not really.
It felt easier than the previous ones.
Well, compared to 3000, yeah.
I mean,
because 3000 was fucking ridiculous. Even I could manage it.
I think that the watermark for which I go on this is whether or not I can play it or not, and that was the first one I could actually play with some success.
Yeah, sort of. But you never got...
That's probably the easiest one.
I don't think that you ever got to the point where, for some reason, it always goes wrong for me. It's like, I can make cities up to a certain point, but then it just like, for some reason, people just won't move in, or random areas start getting abandoned, and I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Especially because my cities are always perfectly symmetrical, so it's like, not like this area is any different from this area, it's just they don't want to live here for some reason.
I suppose that's kind of the problem that all the SimCities have had, haven't they? They haven't really ever sort of, like...
surfaced their information very well.
No, it's always sort of been, that bar is higher than that bar. Oh, so what if all the bars go into the shit?
Yeah.
It's like, what are you guys discussing on air?
Yeah.
Grr.
They're having a side topic.
Oh, it's snowing a little bit.
Is it?
Yeah,
It is snowing.
apparently it's meant to snow tonight.
Let's go have a look at the snow.
It's not. It's a bit windy.
Sounds like rain to me.
Oh, I see.
It is
Wow,
sort of
it
snowing.
looks like slow rain.
That's called.
It's rain in a time dilation field.
Yeah. So the Sim City 5... The stupid thing is, it's some German magazine or something that everyone's pulling this from. And for some reason, everyone's like, look at these screenshots of Sim City 5. Well, it's clearly concept art. It's like, how are you... Why is everyone calling these screenshots? These are not screenshots. Just because they've drawn a landscape and then drawn a grid on it to make it look like it's got a grid layer on it.
Just because it's on the internet and has been put on a screen does not make it a screenshot.
Yeah, so hopefully at
Rob's
GDC,
educational corner.
hopefully at GDC they'll actually tell us some shit about it. Will Wright's not meant to be at Nexuis any longer, so that's probably going to cock everything up for a start.
Well, it'll be EA presents
Yeah.
Sim City, the movie,
Yeah.
the game.
They better not fuck it up too much. It'd be nice to have a new SimCity anyway. If they just remade 4, I wouldn't really care, but I'd like it to be better.
True. But this is EA we're talking about.
Yeah, so
You
then
want the Masters?
and it'll be on Origin and some shit, so...
No, fuck Origin.
It's actually meant to have multiplayer, supposedly, from this article. Where multiplayer means, like how you used to try and do with SimCity 4, where
The
you
neighbouring
could
system
send each
thing,
other your save files for the regions. Only this time it's meant to actually work. And be sort of real time.
It could be interesting, but I always got confused about how much the neighbouring city thing came into play. 'Cause it was...
The answer was way too much. Because it's like, all you had to do was build a shitty city next to your main city, and it made, when you started the new city, it just made it incredibly easy, because millions of people would suddenly arrive
Yeah.
and grow instantly.
This would be Baby Town, and this would be Living.
Yeah. So, like, you just surround your main city with a whole shit ton of crappy cities, but it doesn't matter, because they give your main city so much shit.
We did used to try the retarded tactics, didn't we, of having like an entire city zoned purely for residential, and then having an entirely industrial region.
Yeah.
To see if that
sort of works.
Sort of.
But again,
They didn't quite realise the difference between regions, did
It was because the link between regions was not really, it didn't actually
base it on the city.
Yeah, it didn't really base it on actual numbers. It was like, yes, it was only giving you industrial demand if you were next to an only industrial city, but it wasn't giving you a proportional amount. It was just like, here's some amount of demand. And also the commute times were fucked. I did an actual experiment at one point because I was like, why is this not working as well as it should? And it's like, even though the cities are literally next to each other, like you've got them in exactly the same region, and even if the road is only effectively 1 square apart across that region boundary, it still increases commute times by like an hour or something. So it fucks up the transport network.
They were never directly linked. It was always...
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, stuff for you to fix, EA, if you are working on Sim 55. While we're on the subject of EA, we can't not talk about the game and game station shit that's been happening this week.
Well, yeah.
Unlucky, all you Mass Effect 3 pre-order people who have been pre-ordering with Game Network and Game Station and anyone else affiliated with that lot, because you're not getting it.
I would have done, but then I didn't.
You have survived.
Whereas, like, gamers
There's no voice in the back of your head telling you, yeah, evil, this isn't going to work.
Game would have been where I pre-ordered it, but I don't care enough about Mass Effect 3, so... Because it's like, that game is where I pre-ordered Battlefield, because in my stance of, God damn it, if I'm going to have Origin, I'm going to not give EA as much cash as possible, so I'm going to buy it out of a physical store and make them pay.
This is true.
For making a disc.
To reduce the cut in profit. And it also worked out cheaper, because the Origin price was higher than the game price.
Yeah.
And it was Physical Warfare version, bitches.
Yeah, that's also true.
Until they introduced that.
Yeah, until they just got rid of that idea.
Idiots. But yeah, I know what you mean. It's like... It's a bit unlucky, I think, for those people that actually... Especially those that ordered the collector's edition and things like that, that actually wanted to get the hardcore stuff.
Yeah.
You're fine. Have an Annecy ball if you want an Annecy ball, Kippers.
You're not talking at the moment anyway,
Don't be that subtle.
Regarding the collector's edition thing, Mass Effect 3, they put them all over to Play.com and stuff, didn't they?
Oh, did they?
They tried, yeah. They've been trying to fulfill the orders with other places, basically.
Yeah, so if you ordered it from Game and that, they just moved them over to Play and that you could order it from there.
in fairness, there is a certain amount of EA are evil, but they're not actually the main bad guys of this story.
But it wasn't EA's fault.
No.
They just didn't have any money to buy the game from
But
EA.
it was weirder than that. There was something to do with like how Game and their distributors or something were working on sort of like each distributor had a different agreement. So Game tried to sort of unify a few of the agreements to sort of say, right, you guys need to do this, this, and this. And EA turned around and said, no, and then probably pulled all their shipping.
That's not what I
from
heard.
them. Well, I also heard that it affects a few other games. Like, for instance, Mario Party 9 apparently is not going to be shipped by Game and Game Station because of a disagreement with Nintendo for the same reason.
I heard it was because Game was running out of money, so they couldn't basically afford to make all these deals any longer. So they were having to. So basically, Game's probably going to close down shortly.
Well, yeah, possibly. I reckon they'll like
Closing down sale.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
But there won't be anything to buy because they couldn't afford to buy stock.
I reckon Game Station will survive purely for all that part of the business, purely for the second-hand market thing.
Yeah, but what the fuck is the second-hand market nowadays anyway? Everyone's putting
still
online
pretty
codes
big.
and shit in their
I know,
games.
but the second-hand market is still pretty big, which is why like people are trying to come up with online pass and on shit like that.
And Game Station is cheaper than Game, which makes no sense.
That doesn't make sense. You're right.
The majority of time, the games are cheaper there than they are in Game.
It's because it's the tax if you want to avoid going into a slightly shittier shop.
Slightly grimier.
Yeah.
Din Jam with like hardcore trance music playing.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to go into a more, like, better shopping experience.
You know, a traditional shop.
If you want to go into somewhere that used to be inside Debenhams.
If you want to go into a shop where people come up and ask, hi there, do you need help with that? As opposed to, right mate.
Yeah, basically.
Want my box. Yeah. I don't think I bought anything. I'm trying to remember the last time I actually bought something from Game other than Battlefield 3. Because, yeah, I did the same thing as you. I pre-ordered off Game because that was the best deal going. And I think before that, it's probably the orange box. So that's how little I shop at Game.
I never buy anything from there.
Who buys games like that any longer?
And
You buy stuff off Play, obviously. That's
Steam.
the other option.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Zavi's the cheapest one.
Yeah,
nowadays.
Zavi. Fuck yeah. It's like we shouldn't be advertising companies, but Zavi, shit, yeah.
I get a lot of stuff from there.
Oh, the Mega Mondays.
I can't remember
It's
what
all
else
about
I
Mega
really
Monday.
bought from Game. I think I bought my DS from A Game. Not the Ipswich one, though. That was in Loughborough.
Loughborough.
Yeah.
Beards and cobbles.
That was when I retardedly well, it was partially my fault and partially the store clerk. But I went, I took the box, went up to pay, and then they forgot to switch it for an actual box, so I just took the store box. And then
Did
I
you not notice that it weighed nothing?
Well, it's because it was a DS game. The cart is
just
tiny.
a game. I thought you ordered a DS.
No, it was the DS game. It was a game box, and because DS games are tiny, I didn't realise until I got home, and I was like, "Wait a minute, this is the store box. Shit! Now I have to get on a bus and go all the way back to town."
That's pretty
Fail.
funny. Yeah.
Partially my fault, partially their fault.
Although it's still not as bad as my PC World story.
Yeah, well, that was all their fault.
Yeah. Were you guys listening to that episode?
Or listening to Rob
I
tell
don't
his story.
remember.
No, this was a good one. This was when I was at my
You already
first...
told this on the podcast.
I know, but very quickly. This was when I first was trying to buy a fitness game for Kinect.
Oh
So I
yeah,
picked
you
up-
have told me about this. That was great. That was.
I packed the wrong bloody console version in a box marked the other one. It's
Yeah.
like retards. It's like I don't have a PlayStation. I specifically bought the copy that says Xbox in really big letters on the front.
So you do have a PlayStation.
I do have a PlayStation, but but they don't know that. I was like, I bought a game I can't play. The most confusing thing about that story was the fact that PC World apparently never stocked the Xbox version according to their system. So it's like, how the fuck have you got this?
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't know. I know what you mean about stores. They're a bit unreliable these days, and they have been overpriced for a while. It's like, I think Game and Game Station especially have been fairly competitive with their console prices for a while.
Yeah.
Like the actual hardware, not necessarily the games, but the hardware has not been great.
No.
It's been hard to find a deal. And then again, I don't rate Play for that either anymore. When you look up their deals, it's like, man, that's a rip-off.
Yeah, Player got expensive. now.
Basically,
Yeah.
but if you want to buy a console, go to As.
Actually, Asda
That's
prices
good,
aren't bad. Even Morrison's prices aren't bad for a brand new console,
Yeah.
which is bizarre.
Well, no, it kind of makes sense because like consoles are kind of they're big. It's not like a game box, and like supermarkets already have warehouse space and shit for that kind of thing. Especially if you talk maybe like Tesco, where they have their outlet branches where they just they basically just have a warehouse that's part of the store.
Yeah, I suppose they can store that shit.
Yeah.
Whereas Game has a cupboard.
Yeah, basically.
I'll look in the back.
Whatever's back there, not very much.
Unless it's a cupboard to Narnia, they've got not much in stock.
I just imagine it for some reason, like being. So they go into the back, and for some reason there's shoe boxes. The only useful time anyone ever goes into the back is when you're buying shoes.
Right, I see what you mean.
So I just imagine, like, no, we've got nothing but shoes back here.
It's in the back of every store, regardless of what their store actually sells. In the back, there's shoes.
Yes. I suppose going back on point here.
Yeah.
The other Mass Effect 3 thing is, of course, it will be only playable on Origin.
Yep.
Of course.
Bastards.
Yeah, they're evil. But it's like, did the previous games have any sort of achievement system tied into them? I mean, did they run under Games for Windows or Steam?
Well, Mass Effect 1 should have done, but I don't think it did, because that was sort of before Games for Windows Live actually worked.
They've always had their own internal way of presenting them.
Yeah.
But it's
I don't think Mass Effect 2 did.
And of course, Origin doesn't even have an achievement system.
Well, no. I mean, I'm sure if there is a game on there that runs Games for Windows Live, it will work. But
I still want to see more games come out on Games for Windows, damn it.
Aren't they killing that off, I heard?
Well, they might sort of like meld it into the sort of like it wouldn't be Games for Windows anymore. I think they're going to bring the Xbox brand properly to Windows to try and unify it, because they've done that on Windows Phone now. So you have Xbox on your phone for some reason. So I think they're just going to bring that to PC to see if that will work with Windows Marketplace or whatever it will be, in a vain attempt of unifying it all.
Sucks.
Yeah.
I hate how Windows Live is unified as well.
As much as I
the worst thing about Windows Live for me is when I plug in your Xbox 360 controller, Messenger pops up a window that says you have to install a game controller thing. Like, fuck off, Messenger.
Really?
Yeah, because it's part of the Windows Live thing.
Oh, I suppose because you can get the MSN pad for it, and the PC knows how to use that, I guess.
Okay, I wouldn't have thought that. I didn't know about that, but it's just because it's part of the whole overall live system now. Messenger pops up this fucking window every time I plug in a 360 controller.
I mean, maybe they'll get it right in Windows 8, because they've sort of got it right on Windows 7, other than the app prices. Because they're a bit fucking ridiculous, actually. Angry Birds on iPhone, about 60p. Angry Birds on
Angry Phones on birds.
I'm going to get my own Microsoft Bird phone. Tweet. It's got Twitter, yeah.
Angry Birds on Android, free!
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's
on
also
Chrome.
Ridiculous, but, make it even worse. Angry Birds on Windows Phone, $3.99.
Really?
It's like, totally out of whack. Which is probably the same as the PS Vita price and the PlayStation 3 price. But, it's still a bit of a jip. It's like, you're not helping yourself, Microsoft. I love your phone. Sort your prices out. Still not going to buy one because I'm, an Apple man now.
Some other random news that I've heard that is not really very interesting to us.
News!
Apparently Zynga is going to become decoupled from Facebook. They'll no longer be making games for Facebook, they'll be making games for their own website.
Oh, I see. Interesting. So they want to make a Zynga portal all their own?
Yeah, basically.
That's a risky strategy.
Pretty much. Although it might be interesting to see if, Facebook suddenly becomes, 50% deserted. And, all the people who only use Facebook to play games bugger off.
Suddenly, millions upon millions of Farmville players are gone.
Yeah.
Bringing their fucking cows with them. They can go, as far as I care. That's fine. I'm not really much problem with that. In fairness, Zynga already do, mobile games quite well.
Yeah.
The With Friends series, you can't go wrong. And if they are going to continue to rip off other people, like Tiny Tower, then maybe it's not such a bad thing. I don't know. But
So it should be New Sim City.
What, Tiny Tower?
No, just have Sim Tower inside Sim City.
Oh man, that would be hardcore if you have to micromanage every fucking
No,
building.
not every. It wouldn't be every building. It would be like a special building where it's you can put down one specific.
The government special building.
You put down, like, you zone a specific area to build your own personal tower in, and then you play SimTower inside SimCity.
That could be kind of neat, actually.
That's a bit recursive. It's like, I was thinking...
And then eventually you get someone in that tower who owns an ant farm, and then you start playing Sim Ants.
So you play The Sims inside SimTower.
I mean, you get a government-funded farm as well, so we can have Sim Farm in the middle of this.
Probably.
So games within games within games. These could all be viable DLC options.
Well, apart from it being a really dumb idea to start with. It's like, I was thinking the other day, I was like, what kind of games do I like? And what kind of game is like, what would be awesome? And I was like, well, what I want, really, is like Outpost, except instead of just like building a mine and you get resources, you have to play Space Cam in order to get the resources. I was just like, so all I really want is just the Uber game that combines all the games I like into one huge fucking game.
It's never gonna happen.
No.
That would be quite ridiculous. You know, the weird thing is, though, if you're thinking about it, how you have even the concept of what if they tried to merge all the sim games into one. It's like the only way to really do that is if the world was being simulated a bit like some kind of fascist republic or something, where the government owns everything, and it's like government-owned farms.
Well, not really, because if you think about like The Sims, you're just building on a plot of land. And that still makes sense in SimCity, because it's just like you've zoned a bit of residential.
True.
And an individual family buys that zone, and then what they build on it is what the fuck ever.
Government science research into mind control ants.
I don't think we need to go back to SimAct, really.
Oh man, what other lost sim games are there?
Well,
Sim Golf.
There's Sim Earth and Sim Life, so those don't really work for SimCity. That's above SimCity. Sim Golf, yeah, that makes sense. You build a golf course.
You could argue they got replaced by Spore anyway.
Well, sort of. Apart from Spore being poop. Relatively.
I do still might try and sort out playing that again at some point.
You keep saying that, but you never do.
I never do.
It's not going to
Partly
happen.
because it's EA and partly because it has some restrictive DRM shit
Well,
going
it would be kind of interesting to see what would happen with that now, because it must integrate with Origin, because it used to use the EA Online things anyway.
That's true. I wonder if I can attach it and then unfuck it. It's a technical term.
Yeah, very.
Commence unfucking procedure.
Is there any more news?
Sonic Episode 2 is still coming. They showed a little extra trailer saying,
Woo!
hey look, here's some tails, and they showed literally half a second's worth of footage.
Did they do that with the trailer on the first one?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I thought that was them. Whereas, here's a split second of footage, and then we're going to cut away.
It's like, woo! So basically, we don't know fuck all.
Yeah.
Let's hope it's more than 4 zones.
It's not going to be.
No. And it'll be 1,200 fucking points.
Yep.
Until they decide to permanently reduce it to 800 again after a few months, just to wet us fucking fanboys up.
What? What?
WHET, surely. It's like...
What, they're trying to sharpen you?
No, that's, you use that when you say whet your appetite. I just sort of missed out the appetite.
Oh, okay.
Shortenings.
Sure, things which make it make no fucking sense whatsoever.
Well, the alternative still makes sense. If we were trying to wet us up in the sense of lubrication, that's still getting people excited about the game in a disgusting manner.
Right.
Great. I'm trying to think what else news has been. I'm not sure it's been a very interesting week, really.
Well, there's news that I can talk about in relation to a game that I played.
Shall we do that then?
We could.
What have you been playing?
Well, the news-related game thing was I went back into Minecraft and got around to reinstalling Buildcraft and Equivalent Exchange, the mods for it that do all the ridiculous pipe networks and shit.
Tree farms.
Yeah, and I'll build my tree farms and all that stuff. And I was like, well, actually, I tried to install because there's an extended mod for Buildcraft that makes actual tree farms, the forestry mod. But I couldn't get that to work. It just crashed. So I was like, oh well, I guess I'll just have to go back to my old style tree farms. So I installed all that shit and I went back into playing it. And then literally that day, Minecraft 1.2 came out. And I was like, God fucking damn it. All these mods are no longer going to work with the new version. So I guess I'll just have to continue playing the old version.
So what is new in Minecraft 1.2?
There's jungle biomes where you get bigger trees and bushes all over the ground and ocelots.
Massive.
Which is a new animal. Ocelots.
Yes.
Well, yeah, they start off as ocelots when they're wild, and then when you take them, they just kind of shrink and turn into an actual cat.
Scare off creepers.
Yeah, apparently. which I just think is asking for trouble. Because it's like cats that scare off creepers. Logically, in the minds of the Minecraft developers, probably, it's like you have your cat that follows you around when you're mining and shit, and then creepers can't sneak up on you and kill you. But what I foresee happening is, like, when you're building a giant castle or whatever, you just embed cats in the walls to prevent creepers from coming up and blowing up your shit.
You've basically got lots of cats in cages. Just
Yeah. I see, like, cats being bricked up into like, wall cavities.
They're so mean. But then surely you'll just end up with creepers that sort of, like, spawn in the middle of the mine and sort of go, oh, fuck, where do I go?
That'd probably be useful.
Yeah, you could like, farm creepers.
Well, it's another way.
You could build a fence out of cats.
It's like, because the normal way, if you want to do, like, farming by dropping things off a cliff, you do it by just having water so that they spawn on a platform, fall into the water, and then the water sweeps them into a hole, and then they fall and die. But if you want to do that with creepers, you can just put a load of cats around where they spawn, and then they'll automatically run into the middle. Although maybe they won't now, because the AI's been updated. So creepers won't, most enemies won't just suicidally jump off cliffs any longer.
No.
Probably the water will still work, because that's like a force that's pushing them. But creepers can actually, like, navigate zigzagging, like, if you build a floating platform with zigzags, they can actually navigate it to get to you without just falling off.
Comedy.
So, holy shit, danger.
Danger.
And the height has been raised.
Yeah. Not really sure. I'm not sure what the demand for that was. I never build anything that high.
No.
I mean, it's cool to build on top of, like, the highest mountain you can find, but not very convenient.
I suppose some people do build ridiculously tall stuff.
Yeah, obviously people build huge things.
You can have puppies now.
Puppies!
Yes, the wolves can breed.
But I was sad when it turned into an adult dog again because I just wanted a puppy.
So can you get, like, age reversal cream or something in the world now? Can you, like, mine
The
that
baby
out
animals are
out of the
fucking
rocks
ugly.
Oh.
Like, the baby animals are really fucking annoying.
Any excuse,
Cows are really annoying anyway, because they're so goddamn loud.
any excuse for Zac to make more moo impressions.
Yeah, basically. And I have, like, 6 cows that I've penned in, because you can make animals... That was in 1.1, you can make animals follow you by, like, holding wheat.
Yeah.
So I penned in these 6 cows, and they keep somehow getting outside the fence, because they just jiggle each other, so they move...
I've
Like,
had
when
cows
they-
for ages and they've never escaped once. So.
It's just... I think it's just, like, I have too many in too small an area,
Yeah,
so they just eventually...
Clip their way out of the fence.
Yeah, they just bump each other, and then when I walk further away, so like the chunk despawns and they go into memory, it like approximates their position.
Oh, I see.
And then when I reload, they appear outside the fence, or whatever. So occasionally I'll just see like, oh, one of my cows has got outside the fence again, got that. I'm thinking might just build another layer of fence. Just double fence
Double
it.
fence it. Either that, or you just get angry with them. It's like, right, you see that cow there? All you other ones, I hope you're watching this. Beef. Don't do it again.
Or just dig a hole. I expect them to fit me in a hole that way.
Beef hole.
But I was fucking around with because
Burger hole.
they updated the equivalent exchange thing and Buildcraft to work with 1.2. Buildcraft is basically the same because they haven't released the new version where you can make like microchips and shit for doing proper logic gates on your pipe network. But the equivalent exchange has changed quite a lot where you can do. Thank you.
That's valuable.
Interruption.
Suddenly,
It's like you can the new equivalent exchange you have. The old alchemy system where you could transmute like things up a chain where it's like you can turn 8 gold into 1 diamond or like 8 stone into 1 iron or whatever, go up a chain. Now it works on like a sort of a weird energy system where you get a transmutation table and each like block has an energy value associated to it. So it's basically matter to energy or whatever. So you shove shit into the table and it increases a counter, and then each thing when you want to create something, it uses a certain amount of that energy resource.
I see. So you could basically just put anything to anything.
Yeah, you can just shove anything in. Although you have to like learn, you basically just have to learn the recipes by getting one of that kind of thing. So you put that one into the table and it's like, okay, now you know how to make this.
Okay.
So I've messed around with that again. I haven't quite managed to connect it up to Buildcraft because now it's easier to do the transmutations, because the way I was doing it before was you had to have like a philosopher's stone, put it into an automated crafting table, and then you'd pipe the pipe network through the crafting table. That was cheap, but you had to have a lot of it because each individual recipe had to have its own crafting table and its own philosopher's stone, which is a pain in the ass. Now you've got the other way to do it now is you just have this special kind of crate where you put in a target item into the target square, and anything that goes in there gets converted into energy and then just makes those things come out of it.
Okay.
So that's much easier, so I can just have lots of things piping into one chest and do it that way. But that chest is a lot more expensive to make, so I haven't actually managed that part yet. And I've got enough random crap dug out of the ground to make them. Because you need 5 diamonds per one of these chests or whatever. And I think I'd probably need 4 or 5 of them to do the whole chain.
I suppose transmuting up to those is kind of tricky.
Yeah, because diamonds are a lot of energy. It's like 1 brick of dirt is 1, obviously, because it's the cheapest thing. And then 1 diamond is 8,192.
Wow. So exactly 8k.
Yeah.
In binary terms.
Oh yeah, it is all binary, of course. And a log from a tree is 32 or something. Which makes trees actually quite good for energy conversion. Actually, all the plants give you quite a lot of energy compared to just dirt, which is kind of weird.
I suppose maybe they planned it to work with tree farms?
Yeah, maybe. But you can also in the equivalent exchange, you can just get energy from nothing.
Okay.
You can make a special, it's a special kind of furnace where if you just stick a torch above it, it uses light, and it just makes energy out of light. So you can just make matter out of light. But that's too cheap. I was like, fuck that shit.
That does sound kind of, yeah. that's against the whole point.
I'm going to do this with Buildcraft and the equivalent exchange. So I'm going to have giant fucking quarries just digging giant holes in the ground and convert all that shitty rock into stuff.
I've seen your quarries. They're kind of cool.
Yeah.
That's not a euphemism.
No.
Oh my gosh, you have lovely quarries. It's that makes it. I'm not entirely sure how you could use sort of cavity in some part of your face or something. I've got a wonderful quarry in my face. How does that sound nice?
It's diamonds are coming out of your face.
I've got a diamond coming out of my face.
And that was Minecraft. And then I also played quite a lot of Dwarf Fortress. Apart from then I spent a day where I did play Dwarf Fortress. I just programmed macros. It was really dumb because I realised he normally doesn't break save compatibility more than once. When he does this major update, he broke save compatibility, obviously. But then he's I'm not going to again until the next major update, whenever that'll be. So the bug fixers don't normally break save compatibility. But the thing is that normally when I play up to the point where some little bug or annoyance has annoyed me sufficiently, and I'm like, well, damn, I'm just going to start over, basically, next time there's a bug fix. So regardless of it not actually breaking save compatibility, I normally just start again anyway. And then I realised that because I have sort of a standard layout now for the fortresses, I was like, I could probably save some time if I just make this a macro. But then making the macros took a very long time. I was like, wait, I've just spent an entire day writing macros to make... Well, I guess this will probably save me time eventually.
Yeah. That's one of those things. That's a classic programming conundrum. It's I can even just do the work, or I could write a program to do the work, which I could perhaps use again later.
Yeah. I didn't even write them very well. It's in theory... Because there's already I could have just downloaded a program someone else had made, where you can basically... If you make a spreadsheet, then what character you have in a cell of a spreadsheet tells the program what to do for that. It's basically you turn a grid on a spreadsheet into the grid in the game. But I was like, spreadsheets, what? I'd rather just have it all running in AutoHotkey. So then I wrote my own AutoHotkey script, except it's a literal transcript of the exact keys I have first. So it's okay, so you set it up by putting the cursor where it wants to start, and then the auto-hotkey is just okay, enter, go down 5, go across 6, enter, go up 2, enter, go across 2, enter. just this huge string of keys. I did actually also write some slightly more complicated, using the auto-hotkey UI elements, so you can... When you just hit the key combo to launch the script, and it pops up a window that says which one of these designs do you want to build, and then you input the number of the design that I put in the list, and then certain designs have options do you want to build this to the left of the stairwell or the right of the stairwell?
Are you sure you don't want to learn more programming, for career purposes? This is starting to sound a lot like it.
But AutoHotkey is really simple, though. It's popping up an input box is no effort at all, then it just saves it to a variable. Just one variable.
You think it's difficult in programming land? Most of it is messagebox.show.
Yes. Yeah. So I made that auto-hotkey script and then didn't play Dwarf Fortress after that. Although he has made a few more patches which are looking to fix some of the bugs that were annoying me. And his donation tally has suddenly shot up.
Because he's active again.
Well, yeah. It's like, December was like a good month compared to the other ones because it was the Christmas, let's give him some money.
December ween.
Yeah. And he got there was like $5,000 in Christmas. And then January was back down to like $3,000 or whatever, which it had been for basically the rest of last year. And then oh no, the new version came out, $12,000.
Sweet.
So he's still making shit tons of money off it.
It's not bad. It's not bad. Commendable. So have you been playing some real games?
Minecraft Captain. Well, the usual stuff, Team Fortress and Battlefield, but not much has been different about them.
No, not much is happening on either of those really of late. We're still waiting on the big TF, what the fuck is this new game mode announcement.
Oh yeah, if that ever happens.
Which hasn't happened for a while. Battlefield's been quite quiet since Karkin came out.
Well, it's like, I don't know what needs patching. Well, basically, the Thanos still needs nothing.
The Thanos is quite powerful, yeah.
Fucking Thanos.
It's fucking awesome, but yeah, I agree. I think it's OP.
And there's something else that I saw a thread where people were bitching about. I can't remember what it was. There's another gun of some kind that everyone was like, "Oh, this is so bad." I think people were still complaining about frag rounds on shotguns,
really,
even after they nerfed them. Oh no, wait! It's the auto shotgun, the last one you get, the USAS. That apparently that with frag rounds is a bit ridiculous. But I haven't got that yet.
I've got to be honest, I've never really used much shotgun, so...
Well, I don't know. But, I mean, the USAS is obviously insane anyway. Like, fully automatic shotgun. That's bound to be ridiculous. But then the whole idea was they nerfed frag rounds for automatic shotguns. Which is why I switched back to the pump action shotgun for frag rounds. Yeah. And I was just like, well, this still works.
This is still awesome.
It's just a little more tricky.
I suck at Battlefield. I can't kill anyone.
For starters, you have the Xbox version.
Yeah.
Which isn't the real version.
Clearly.
Still fun, though.
Yeah.
Team Deathmatch is good.
Boo.
We occasionally get that, don't we, on certain servers where they sort of like go from like the big, massive conquest games to all of a sudden, squad deathmatch. It's like, what the fuck's going on now? This is like fight, like really close quarters, isn't it?
I can't get my hang of the big battle ones. I just die all the time. And I can't get close to the actual battle.
It depends what you're doing. It does happen quite a lot. Where, some of the levels I used to like I'm not a big fan of Caspian Border anymore because my long range tactics no longer seem to work very well on that level. Just like everyone seems to have wised up to the don't stand there, you'll get sniped.
Yeah, it's like you always used to snipe people off that hill fight, and it's like not getting very many of those any longer.
No, I used to just whore that shit up, but. And my relief is usually jet fighters on that one, but
for some reason.
But yeah, but of late there seems to be a lot of kick-ass jet players being around. So it's like actually my sort of mediocre. I can just about fly a plane,
and you don't have the maximum unlock or whatever yet.
No, I don't.
The ECM instead of the flares.
No, I don't have any of that, so I get a bit owned.
And for some reason, Stufflams and Javelins have become exceptionally common suddenly.
Yeah, everyone's using
No one was using them for ages, and now suddenly you can't go fucking anywhere without getting laser locked.
It's really bloody irritating, because I can't tell if I've got a proper weapon, locked on me, or just a soft lam.
Yeah.
It's like, as you're flying around going, oh shit, I must have flown over some AA or something. No, nothing's happening, it's fine.
And then you get Javelin.
By a fucking ground troop. It's like, oh...
That's really weird. Although, the other night when I was playing, the team I was on was just getting horribly raped, and someone was like, why do we not have any soft labs? It's like, yes, why don't we have any soft labs? For a change. Apparently you have to now, otherwise you just get horribly destroyed.
That's interesting, because that's all changed really without much in the way of a balance tweak. Like, people have just changed the way they play.
They did balance the soft lambs one time.
What, nerfed or improved?
I don't know. I think they increased the range.
They did something.
I think they increased the range.
That would explain a lot.
Well, yeah. But it seemed to take people a long time to realise that was better.
Also, they're really fucking difficult to hit.
Yeah. You can see, it's like you're sniping, and you can see this fucking glowing red dot.
It's like, it must be in the middle of that dot.
But you can't fucking hit them.
hit it, no.
Or sometimes you hit it and it won't even die from one shot. It's like, oh, come on.
It's really hard. It's easier to hit someone at that distance than it is to hit a fucking completely stationary bit of metal.
Yeah.
That's strangely difficult. But yeah, anything else?
Well, I was going to tell a story of something that was really annoying me on my computer.
Gather round, children. Zac has a tale that will be retold through the ages, from generation to generation.
It was basically, I have my hard disk partition.
What's that?
What are you looking at over there?
It's like they're laughing at Cat's reclining pose. She's just got one leg sticking out in the air for some reason.
It's like Angelina Jolie.
Oh. But I have my hard disk partitioned, and I have basically my Windows partition.
Yes.
And I very carefully looked up on the internet, like, how large should I make this Windows 7 partition to make sure this works?
Right.
And it was like, well, Windows 7 should take up about 15 gigs. So I was like, well, obviously make the partition 30 gigs.
Yeah.
Just to be on the safe side. So I did that, and that fucking partition won't stop getting full. And I'm like, I don't have anything on there. Stuff keeps going in there without... And the most annoying ones are the stuff that I can't stop from going. Because it's like, obviously you can move your libraries and shit off there, so I did that immediately. But there's certain things that won't stop going... I mean, NVIDIA drivers make a backup copy, and that's fair enough, I can just take them out.
Yeah.
But, like, Minecraft saves go in your user folder. So,
C.
Yeah, so that goes in the Windows drive. And the worst one I discovered was fucking Dirt, Dirt 2 and Dirt 3 store their replay files on your C drive, and they're fucking gigantic. I'd only played Dirt 3 for like 3 hours or something, and there was like 3 gigs of fucking replay data in there.
Wait, they store replays?
Yeah.
But it never gives you the option to save a replay.
No. So you should probably go there and look and see how gigantic your file is, because it's fucking ridiculous.
That's mysterious. There's there's no way of actually replaying those replays.
Because there's another folder in there that's labelled YouTube, which is presumably where it stores...
For the Dirt for YouTube.
Yeah, where it stores the upload to YouTube files, but there's just replay data in there, and it was like 3 goddamn gigs. It was like, fuck you guys. Another reason to hate Dirt 3.
That is quite big, yeah. I wonder if I'm going to have to go and look at my Dirt 2 file now, see how massive it is.
Well, I don't think my Dirt 2 folder had virtually anything in it. I think Dirt 2 was better at clearing them up, maybe.
Maybe.
But Dirt 3 clearly wasn't.
Still haven't played any more of that.
No. So that was my Tales from my hard disk.
Tales from the hard disk!
I guess that was all I did last week, really.
I want to step in with my minor corrections column.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, this is...
That's the correction noise.
Sound. That's the sound of someone going back in time and changing what I said originally. Yeah, like that. That's better. He does that good. He has a use. Housemarque Games, who I originally thought were an indie developer, who made Outland.
Oh. I was like, I've never heard of these people before. When did we talk about this on the podcast?
Yeah, this is a few weeks ago. But the thing is, they're not really an indie developer, as it turns out, because they're also responsible for like 3 Stardust games.
Oh.
Including Stardust HD and the Vita version and the PSP version. So Sony have been like tending to them. So I take it back. They're not really an indie developer. They're just a small developer that people like.
Okay.
That probably should do some more high-profile titles because they're quite good. Correction done.
Okay. Kippers, what are you playing?
Yeah,
games.
Let's do Kippers before he rips his lip off. Yeah.
Well, I've been going a bit old school this week, I'm afraid.
Oh, really?
You're afraid?
Well,
that's what I do every week.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm afraid because there's no good new games.
That is kind of annoying.
So I've been playing Left 4 Dead, the original.
Woo!
And it's still fun.
Yeah.
Man, that shit was awesome. There's something about nothing really sort of compared to actually playing. What the hell is that rattle?
It's jiggling the table.
I'm going to sort that out a second. Talk about yourselves.
Continue.
Oh wait, it was my...
Yeah, you were saying something. So carry on, Kippers. Just ignore what Rob had to say.
I think it's the DJ Hero controller rattling.
No.
Stop. It must be the biscuit tin. Remove the biscuit tin. Commence jiggling of table. Just clunk, clunk, clunk.
It's
right.
reduced.
It's reduced. It'll do.
Reduced jiggling.
Okay, continue.
Left 4 Dead.
Yeah.
4 players on Xbox was awesome.
Well, 2 Xboxes.
Oh yeah, 4 players on 2 Xboxes. That was awesome back in the day. We used to do that quite a lot.
Yeah.
Well,
there's still people
we did it
playing
like 2 or 3 times, but it took
quite a lot. It was like weekly.
It's like
Shut up, Kippers.
we did it a few times, but it inevitably turned into like 4-hour sessions or whatever.
Yeah.
Because that's how long shit takes.
Let's do every campaign, bitches, and try it on expert mode.
So anyway, people are still playing it.
Yeah, which I found quite surprising because I thought everyone would have moved on to Left 4 Dead 2.
Left 4 Dead 2 isn't as good.
Well, we don't know about the Xbox port,
That's true.
really.
Maybe it definitely isn't as good then.
But I have my doubts as to whether Left 4 Dead 2 would play well on console because of the controls. But
What was different then?
well, you have more stuff to deal with, don't you? You're carrying more stuff in your inventory, and there's
No.
don't you? I thought you had like an extra slot for like the jab things. Oh no, because that replaced pills, didn't
Yeah.
it? Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm wrong.
You had more options, but there was the same number of slots.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, you could, instead of having pistols, you could have melee weapons.
Yeah. But really, you don't think it's as good?
No. The characters are terrible. That was the main
Well,
problem.
no, true. Yeah, the characters
And I didn't really like the setting that much either. I mean, they did more interesting things, like the rainstorm and all that shit.
Yeah, and the more split routes and things, and
Well, sort of.
on occasion. The only thing the thing I sort of like, the only thing I think actually got worse between the two games was that they ruined the suspense.
Well,
Like, because it became like, oh my god, hordes are actually a really bad thing. We need to sort of get ourselves ready for this. To Left 4 Dead 2's
Hordes.
Yeah, there's another horde. Hey, you guys, you know that last horde you killed? Have another one.
Like, if you stand still for like 2 seconds, here's a horde.
Yeah, exactly. It sort of ruined any of the sort of like slow, methodical, planned pace
Yeah.
that the first game had. You didn't really have a plan. It's like, fucking leg it, lads!
Yeah.
Ellis, have you got your hat? Good, let's go!
I always find it funny, like, when people fall off a ledge on the first one. Like, they just walk, and the dramatic music, like, dang, 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 dang. It's like, he just stepped over a ledge by accident. It's like, holy shit!
It's quite bad.
This is hilarious. And the thing is, they hang there for like hours
Yeah.
if you don't get them.
It's like the recovery time period for people hanging off ledges is like forever.
This is like, what's the point of the dramatic music? Because you could just literally saunter up if you wanted to. Hey.
But it was nasty because it did count as a proper in-cap, didn't it?
Yeah.
So you
Well, it
lost all
didn't fuck your
health.
health up as much, I don't think.
I think it still put you in the dipping type of health.
I don't think it did. For ledges.
I always thought it did. I thought it was like a knockdown, so it had the same effect, pretty much. Might not be.
That'd be
accurate,
really
but-
convenient if it did, though.
Yeah. Oh, I remember getting quite pissed off of it. Like, oh fuck! I just healed. And now I'm on no health again.
Some of the achievements are ridiculous, though.
Yeah. No, the Chivos in that game are fucking harsh.
Well, all the do shitting on, do anything on expert mode. That was immediately impossible.
That is properly difficult. We tried for hours, didn't we?
Yeah.
On our,
We got right to the end
So-
of No Mercy, but then that rooftop face-off is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. That's one of the harder face-offs, isn't it? That one, I think.
Well, it had
On
more...
medium mode. It's nice and easy because no one really breaks into that little hut,
That's true.
and you can just.
But
play
I
it,
think
yeah.
because the rooftop had like very well defined, edges and places that enemies could move along, whereas some of the other ones, like the farmhouse or whatever, it's just open.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I didn't. I always thought that the last campaign, the one in the fields and stuff, was probably the trickiest overall because it is quite open and not much, especially when you're in that wheat field and they can be coming from fucking anywhere.
You can't see shit.
No. And it was always like, to a point where you sort of like will learn that it's going to happen. If you take too many steps into this field, someone's going to disturb some crows, and then shit's going to come out of the field.
So you just leg it, or make one guy jump off and trigger it, and then everyone stands at the top of the cliff and shoots them.
Yeah, shoots the horde, and then when the horde dies down, which wouldn't happen in Left 4 Dead 2,
No.
everyone then pegs it across the field to try and get to the other side before another lot comes.
Yeah.
It's like it did Left 4 Dead 2, it'd be like, you done with that, are you? Well, fuck you guys! We've got a whole backup squad coming round the corner.
Which brings me to another thing that annoys me.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, there should be more co-op games like that are based around co-op completely.
Yeah, actual
Yes.
cooperative co-op.
Yeah.
Not just like, you need more guns co-op.
Yeah, like, like Syndicate, for example, that that's just got its multiplayer thing where it's kind of like you have 4 people on your team, the multiplayer side of it. But why don't people just make the whole game like that? It'd be so much more awesome. Which is why I like Left 4 Dead.
Well, the thing was with it's difficult to do a class-based co-op game like that because Syndicate goes kind of classy, doesn't it? Where it's like everyone has a certain role, yeah. But it's a bit tricky to do that in a proper co-op game if you then require several classes and you've got like limited groups of people. Because Left 4 Dead kind of works with any group size.
Well, no one wants.
Although 4 is always best because you can't trust those fucking computers.
Yeah, but why make a class-based one and just make?
Well, Left 4 Dead is class-based.
Exactly, just make one that doesn't need classes.
But they don't want to do it because then you're alienating people who don't have friends.
Yeah, but you can play with random people online. That's
that's terrible.
Do it.
It's like, hey community, why don't you make friends? It does sound a little complicated.
And also, if you're playing with random people online, that relies on like there being online servers and populations for a certain amount of time.
Which
if you make a co-op,
but
if they made a co-op game that like somehow if they made a co-op game that wasn't necessarily that popular and like didn't sell very well, they'd be fucked because there just wouldn't be enough people playing it to populate the servers for random people, and then you'd make no money.
It is a risky venture, I'll have to admit, and it needs a company with a lot of weight behind it. But even then, they've been known to go wrong.
Yeah.
Like the Army of Two can't really be overlooked because it's not supposed to be a particularly bad game, but it didn't sell at all. And so, has fallen into that trap like badly, in that it didn't have many players playing it. Even if it did try and mitigate the situation by only allowing 2 people to be in a co-op team,
but it didn't do anything gameplay-wise to make it interesting, though, did it? That was the problem with it.
It was just a bad game.
Yeah.
Well, they had some mechanics, didn't they? Like they had some sort of like joint rage system where, like, if the players were like on a joint kill streak really quickly, so it didn't just like relate one player's like performance. If the other one then sort of backed up when the other one was moving forward, for instance, and stuff like that, you'd build up sort of teamwork points that resulted in a kind of raw rage style like we're awesome mode. And it's so they did do things to try and encourage it, but I suppose the problem was with it that by the time it actually came out, a lot of games already had sort of like co-op mechanics that everyone had used, like the revive systems and things like that. And it's like by the time it actually came out, it was kind of, well, you haven't done that much, have you?
It's not that innovative.
Yeah,
Innovativity.
More co-op games.
I agree. Magica. shit, yeah.
That was barely co-op. Like killing each other.
Pretty much, but it's quite funny.
But for console people.
Yeah.
Because I can't afford a PC.
Well, Torchlight 2's coming.
Indeed.
I do agree with it. Well, and in theory, Ghost Recon is going to come. The new one's going to bring the co-op.
People are suggesting that that's kind of stupid.
I sort of a bit of me always kind of liked Ghost Recon's co-op because it's fucking ridiculous. Don't get me wrong, it's hardcore, properly hardcore.
I think I played one. It was the original Ghost Recon, was it on PC or something?
Yeah,
the really old one. And we couldn't finish the first level. It was
really
it
hard.
was just ridiculous.
It was really, really hard. But I don't like it very much as a single player game. I have to say, I've never really liked the Ghost Recons as a single player game. But the co-op, actually really good, because there's a sort of like, it requires all of your team members to be good, and the concept of permadeath makes it terrifying. It's like, if you're out, you are out. Yeah, and it's like, I'm not sure that works so well online.
No.
If you know what I mean. It's always worked well when you're all in the same room, or when we were trying to do GRAW on one console. And, that only had 4 co-op missions, which was a travesty, really, because they were the most fun I got out of the game. And it's I do kind of like that. If they're bringing that back into the new one, then that's a good thing. But it does require us to be kind of committed to it, which we're not. Getting all three of the normal cast members to actually sort of play any game together is pretty impossible.
Well, it's only impossible because Dan hasn't had internet forever.
Well, that, and he's kind of the most fussy out of the lot of us. He doesn't even try things.
That's sort of true.
We can say that because he's not here.
Yeah, the classic.
Sorry, Dad.
Ha.
Another argument
Yeah.
is Why have people
It's
stopped
not an
making...
argument, it's a point of view.
Indeed. Why have people stopped making local split screen an option on any Xbox game?
Call of Duty still does.
Call of Duty is the only one that does it. Battlefield doesn't do it.
Halo does it.
Halo does it, but these are like reasonably like last year.
Borderlands 2 is going to do it.
Borderlands 1... I'm not sure if it did. No,
I don't think Borderlands 1 did.
But like the new Nexus game on Xbox Live doesn't do it. Batman Imposters or whatever it's called doesn't
How are you
do
supposed
it.
to pronounce that, by the way? Is it Nexuis?
Well, that's what I thought because I copied the guy.
Everyone just calls it Nexus.
It's Nexus according to the
Just called
developers.
Nexus.
Yeah,
It's like Nexus.
which I played the. That's something else I'll talk about because I played that.
Cat is taking your foot.
Cat attacks foot. That's what she does. She licks Gnome's feet and attacks mine. that's the balance of power in this house.
Syndicate isn't split screen either, I don't think. So it's just like every new game they're bringing out have all got rid of split screen, which is irritating for me because me and obviously Jamie, we like to play the game in the same room.
Yeah, in the same place.
Which we can't do with most new games, which is why we don't buy them. Like we quite enjoyed Batman Imposters or whatever it's called.
Oh yeah.
Gotham Pop. Yeah, that was quite fun, but no local split screens. So that means we can't play it really. So we're not going to get it. Same as Nexus, it's quite fun, but there's no local split screen, so we're not likely to play that.
Although, Time Splitters 4 is rumoured to be in production again.
Okay.
Well, it has been for a very long time, in fairness, but now that Crytek actually own them and they're on a new project, it's rumoured to be Time Splitters, so we might see the rebirth of split screen gaming.
Well, it needs to happen because it's just getting annoying.
Yeah, I can't help but agree. There's nothing wrong with split screeniness. I know the internet has kind of killed it in the sense that people think that it's not a requirement, but there is still... And the problem is with a lot of multiplayer games is they are designed for more than 4 people, so the inherent need for them to support good split screen seems to be reduced, because it's like, well, you're going to need 16 people, therefore you need to play on Xbox Live, therefore you don't need to support it properly. But then even that logic is kind of flawed when back in the Halo 2 days... Possibly the best online multiplayer ever, motherfuckers, and you've never done better. Which supported all 4 people to be online on a console. Online! It's like, this is how you do it right. And no one's really matched it.
I just don't get
even
why
Halo
they
Reach
stopped
struggles with adding more than 2 people into an online game. It doesn't doing more than 2 people on the internet. I'm not sure you can even, and you might be able to in multiplayer, but it just doesn't let you. It's like when it's like, what are you doing? You've done this before, and you did it well before.
You didn't turn your screensaver off.
Well, fuck.
Better make sure this recording is actually continuing.
I did try. I probably just didn't hit the apply button. It was still good.
Okay.
So yeah, that really irritates me because obviously we play a lot of games together. That's basically the only time we play games like that, isn't it? And because they're not including this option, we don't play a lot of these new games.
Did Duke Nukem support split screen?
I don't know.
Because obviously everyone fucking loves
we
Duke
never
Nukem.
the multiplayer that is god awful. So
is it okay?
It kind of made me laugh.
It was funny, but god awful.
Yeah.
See, when I still haven't got around to playing that, but I picked it up with the first DLC pack, the sort of parody multiplayer modes. So it'll be interesting to see what that's like. I'm still intrigued by the whole thing. It's got a level that rips off Two Fort, damn it, and makes it out of cardboard in a studio.
Speaking of Two Fort, I tried to play Team Fortress the other night. None of the servers that we usually play on had very many people in. I was just like, well, what the fuck? So I went and looked at the actual server list, and I was like, I've forgotten how to find good servers. All these servers look shit. So then I was
playing on the same ones for so long.
Yeah, so then I was like, well, fuck it, I'll just hit the play now button.
See what happens.
And it put me in a 2-Fort server. A 24/7 2-Fort. I was like, well, fuck this. Oh, my one of the regular servers has got up to 16 people. I guess that's enough.
Yeah. I couldn't help but notice the number of people that have been complaining about free-to-play seems to have shot up again recently.
I thought it was getting better for a while. The thing is, it's like with TF2, with Team to Team, I thought it would. There was the initial everyone bitching about free to play, and everyone was retarded for quite a while. But I thought it would sort of started tailing off again, where it's like now the long term players are starting to stick around a bit longer, and the skill levels starting to go up again. But then I've had some nights where it's like complete retards again, so maybe they're not.
I'm one of those retards. I suck at TF2.
You should just play it more.
I can't do it at all. I'm awful, aren't I? We had a go the other night.
Yeah, you got a few people.
Got a few headshots.
Yeah.
You play
But trying to be
Skyrim.
sniper.
Yeah, I haven't
That's
unlocked...
quite a hard place to start.
I did scouting as well, and also...
That's also quite hard.
Yeah. Be soldier. Seriously. Soldier and pyro and medic are like the best places to start.
Alright, because I haven't unlocked anything either.
Although pyro these days might be tricky because you kind of need some of the unlocks, I think.
Well,
for that.
well, maybe the extinguisher.
Yeah.
Although I don't know.
His Kippers stuck in his coat.
Seems that way.
I don't know. Regular pyro could do okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
you can still do fine as pyro, but I started on soldier and I found that the easiest to get used to the mechanics.
Maybe.
Because demo's hard to start with. Really.
Well, demo is fucking difficult.
Yeah.
But the trouble with soldier is nowadays there's a lot more things that can fuck you up.
Medic's the easiest by far, but it's
But
also
it's really boring.
So boring, yeah.
I think if you're playing medic right, then it's not boring. But as a newbie, yeah, I can see why that would put people off.
And you also actually sort of have to know what you're doing as medic
Yeah.
to some extent. Like
Very-
when to deploy your charges and
You
shit.
can go engineer, I suppose.
Yeah, but then if you only have the big sentries, that's quite difficult to pull off very well as well. If you could be engineer with the mini sentries, then that's do what the fuck ever you want.
Yeah, no, I think engineer's a relatively good playing ground, but the problem with engineer is you need to play as engineer for a bit in order to discover where to put things in decent locations and things. You start to learn a little bit about, right, put it here. But then, of course, when I'm playing, I basically throw most of that out the window because it's like, fuck it, just put it down.
Well, sometimes you have to try and not put it where everyone expects it to be.
Exactly, so it's like, so it catches them off guard, or to stop your other engineer from building right
next to you, because they're idiots.
Oh, fuckers. I hate that so much. It's like, I've already just built a nest here. What the hell are you building here as well? That's not very effective. You get killed by the same fucking grenades.
So, yeah.
Play more, seriously.
I can't, I suck. I don't get it.
You just suck at the difficult classes. Don't play Spy. Whatever you
For the
fucking do,
love
do
of
not play
God,
Spy.
don't play Spy unless you've got at least 100 hours under your belt.
Or you might just naturally be good at it, I guess, but...
You never know. Yeah, because you sort of like randomly took to it. It's like, I've never played Spy, let's try Spy. And, well, admittedly, you don't play Spy properly.
No, I play retarded Spy.
Do you go crabbing?
No, I don't play Spy crab. It's been a while since I seen someone do a Spy
Do a
crab.
Spy crab.
I did see someone the other day who got the classic civilian pose going. They managed to glitch it out again for the old civilian. It was a soldier though, it wasn't even a heavy.
Oh, really?
It wasn't civilian heavy, it was a civilian soldier.
Civilianing, in case you're not aware, is when they manage to glitch the animation so they just stand like that.
Reference pose. And they just glide
drift
around.
on the level going.
That's awesome.
It's more like Jesus that goes by.
Well, no, because the TF2 reference pose isn't arms out straight, it's just arms down, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, they're sort of to the side like that, yeah.
Slightly less ridiculous.
Yeah. Not proper Jesus.
So anyway, what else?
Nexus, played that.
What did you think? Because that's getting sort of like mixed opinions.
Well, I'm kind of a bit 50-50 with it. Like, the gameplay works really well in terms of, like, the speed and stuff, because it's a fast game.
The dynamic mutators sound cool.
Yeah, they are cool, they're a lot of fun. But I have issues with the actual gameplay itself. Like, for example, you have regenerating health, which
Oh, really?
personally I don't feel should ever be a part of an arena
It's a bit funny
shooter.
for an arena shooter, but it might work if it's slow enough.
When this is a game that's fast.
Yeah, it's quite fast paced. And the other thing is the shield like shards that you pick up. You know, like in Unreal Tournament where you got the armor shards.
Yeah, they go.
It's basically like that, but there's hundreds of them on the level, and you have a meter that you build up.
So
So you
everyone's
have
just
full
like
armor.
running along trails of them all
Yeah.
the time or whatever.
Which is fine, but like if you spawn from dying, you don't have any shield at all.
Right, so getting back into the fight after dying
It's quite
is
difficult,
tricky.
yeah, because if someone's near you when you spawn, you just get instantly blown up because they'll have full shield or whatever.
Because the majority of the time on an arena shooter, I suppose it's fairly level playing field unless someone's been
Exactly.
whoring for a while.
Exactly, which is what I would have liked from it, like old school Quake and stuff, where everyone's basically on the same, apart from what weapon they've got.
Well, didn't this
Or
start as a
they
Quake
picked
3
up-
mod?
It was a Quake, yeah, it must have been a Quake or Quake 2. It might have even started on
Oh, jeez.
Ancient.
something like that, yeah. But I don't. It's a bit hit and miss for me. sometimes it's fun, sometimes it just feels like you're just being spawn camped. And
Did this get a PC release?
not yet, it will do though.
Okay. Because I was about to say, I'm not sure I like the idea. Well, the problem I have with most shooters that end up releasing as a console one is chances are it will fall into the Monday Night Combat update trap of being, hey, look, guys, we want to be the new TF2 in terms of online support and shit, and then they never do.
Well, the thing about Nexuis is they've developed it so they can make changes without it having to be updated.
Without it going through search or whatever.
Oh, neat.
So like, if they want to add new mutators or whatever, they can do it without actually making a physical update.
That's good, because there's only been a couple of games that support this so far, Explosion Man being one of them.
Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat!
The balancing on that is done without having to be updated, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's cool. So they can actually add a lot of stuff and change the balance of it as they go without having you to update it
That's
every
cool.
time. So it'll probably improve over time, like with balancing and all that kind of stuff.
Presumably they're just all tracked in server-side variables, I guess, and stuff, and they just change the variables slightly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, rather than having to update actual code.
So it probably will get better in that respect. But at the moment, I'm not really that...
See, people were kind of just, like... A lot of the major negative points were, like, actually, like, fairly... hard to describe, like, aesthetic things, I suppose. Like, apparently the look is very derivative. Like, they've gone a bit more neon-y, perhaps, than, like, Unreal Tournament usually was with its... Yeah. Unreal Tournament's generally quite camp in its design. But they've gone very neon and a bit derivative on that front. But they also say that the weapons don't really feel right. That they're sort of like, they seem to lack any kind of punch behind them.
Yeah, they
which
do.
Which is unusual, because most arena shooters make them feel insane. Like, boom! You know, like, overly powerful.
And it doesn't.
And then they do fuck all to your enemy.
Like, the weapons don't feel right in the sense that, like, you start off with a shotgun, and the shotgun is really powerful, but then you pick up something like a rocket launcher and you shoot them like 10 times, and it doesn't seem to kill them or whatever. It just doesn't seem right. Like, you hit them with a mortar as well, which is another like grenade launcher basically. You hit them that several times, and it doesn't seem to do as much damage as you expect from a gun like that. So it just seems kind of odd, like the way they've balanced it.
But balance is something they could improve.
They can change that, of course, yeah, but I don't know how they will.
Risky strategy to buy into it and then go, but they could change it.
Yeah.
You know they won't.
So I don't know, I'm a bit...
It seems weird that it's not balanced, given that it's had, like... I think the original mod or something came out, like, 6 or 7 years ago, from what I remember reading.
Yeah,
so it's like they've had plenty of time to get this right.
I don't know if it's not balanced as such, it's just I don't think it's to my liking.
Okay, yeah. Were you just shit?
I was pretty shit, because I've never played it before, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I get this problem with a lot of multiplayer games I try for the first time. It's like, it's hard to tell whether it's crap or if I'm just playing like a monkey.
The other thing I like my arena shooters to be is batshit mental. And it just seemed like, because the demo was restricted to 3-on-3, I don't know if you can have more than that in the actual thing. I think I've seen 4-on-4, but that's about it. And it seemed really sparse, like the level... I spent a minute or two on some occasions running around and not actually getting an opportunity to kill people.
I've read. Which
isn't my idea of fun for that kind of game. I like spawn, I'm in the action straight away kind of thing.
Yeah. Some of the best fun on like old school arena shooters is exactly like that. And when there isn't too much of a disadvantage of just being in the fight. That's when arena shooters are at their best, when you can literally just spawn into a fight and be right.
Exactly. I mean, there is Quake Arena on Xbox Live as well, but I played the demo of that, and that was just too much. They hadn't actually adopted it for the Xbox.
I'm not sure the controls would really suit after years of playing Quake 3 and Quake Live. It's like, I think if you were going to have the choice of doing those, play Quake Live. For fuck's sake, it's free.
Yeah, it's quite fun still, but.
I still think there's a place for the arena shooter, but I just think people haven't got it right. No one's innovated since Quake 3. Really, it's like Unreal Tournament 2004 was pretty good, but it wasn't quite as.
And the things they did innovate, I didn't like.
Yeah. I think the dynamic mutators are awesome, but it's like that idea sounds amazing. How it just shifts the entire style of the fight, like mid-game.
But to be honest, in the demo, a lot of the mutators aren't in it, so I can't really say.
Yeah,
but it didn't seem to affect the game much. But obviously that depends on what mutators are in there. I mean, there could be different ones in the actual full game that do make a lot of difference. But from what I saw in the demo, it didn't really affect it that much.
I think the problem as well with a lot of shooters like this that are designed for purely multiplayer will have the issue of, well, are they going to keep updating it? Are the updates going to be free? And is the population going to stay with it or go back to COD? It's that will.
COD feels more like an arena shooter to me.
I think
in
it
some
might.
respects.
I think it might have more. I think Nexuis may have more life on PC, to be honest, because it sounds like it. If they've made it with PC in mind, and they kind of do like a lot of shooters do, and open it up to the community, so maps and stuff, custom maps start flying around. I mean, this is where PC shooters often have a massive advantage.
This is where Monday Night Combat failed.
This is where Monday Night Combat failed completely. Yeah, because they didn't support custom maps, or at least not in a decent way. You know, you couldn't just join a server that was running a custom map and it would download it and you could play it. It's like, if Nexuis does that on PC, I think they're onto a winner. You know what I mean? That would probably make it live for a bit. If you give it any kind of modability, it will live.
But I think they developed it primarily for console, didn't they? So it'll be more like the other way around.
Yeah. It's supposed to be quite pretty, though, you know, because it's based on the Crysis engine. Yeah.
It does look good. You'll have to try it out yourself. Just download the demo for free.
I should.
It's worth a go.
Saladcast top tip, try this now.
Like, as I said, when I got into the groove where I was... well, I'd killed a couple of people or whatever, and I built my armor and stuff up. I actually got like on a 10 or 11 kill streak or something. And then as soon as I died, I was just dying and dying and dying, which is, I don't know, it's just a bit hit and miss for me.
I still think there is a kind of a weird backwards reward system, I think, in like shooters in general, aren't there? Because it's kind of, a bit of me both likes and hates the idea of, if you're doing well, you should do better. Kind of reward system that you get, like Call of Duty's like kill streak rewards. It's like, hey, awesome guy, why don't you do more awesome? It's like, that just sounds unfair to the rest of the players. It's like, and you know, the best games in any sort of shooter are the ones where they're tight, and it's like, and these things like kill streaks and stuff kind of start to break that tightness to a degree. Don't get me wrong, it doesn't break it all the time. It just breaks it quite a lot of the time.
Yeah, to be honest,
like,
I don't like
the falls into the same problem, and it's you just end up with one guy going on an Uber streak because he's managed to build up some insane power, or found the bacon. And it's
yeah, you don't get any kill streaks or anything like that though. It's just solely like the armor thing. It bugs me.
Man, I'm having a bit of a lament in my head now. So I kind of, you know, Monday Night Combat. That should have been so much better than it was.
Well, they're releasing a new one, aren't they?
I know, but we think it's shit.
Yeah,
is it?
That looks suspiciously like it's not going to be that great.
I know that's like an early opinion, a very early opinion, but, you know, we've not played the game or something, but from what we've seen, it's not got my...
They somehow cocked up the aesthetic. That's one of the main problems that I've seen.
The Camp American sports feel.
Well, yeah, because it's not in sports stadiums anymore for a start.
Hey-o.
They're on like these ancient ruins or some shit in one of the levels.
Oh.
It just doesn't fit.
Where's the Spunky Cola?
Yeah, exactly.
Or was it Spunky?
Yeah.
Or Splunk?
No, Spunky.
Spunky.
And
all the ridiculous advertising, and
I couldn't get the hang of that one either. Monday Night Combat.
I think Monday Night's harder to get into than TF.
Yeah, probably.
And again, I think it plays a lot better on PC than it plays on Xbox. Having tried both, I think it's far better as a PC game than as Xbox. But I think I just prefer my shooters on PC now.
Yep.
I probably would too, but I just can't afford to buy one.
Give it time, young Padawan. And the PC shall reveal itself to you.
Plus a new PC
would skip somewhere you can nick.
Plus a new PC would mean rendering times on my videos that I make would be much less.
Presumably.
I could do them in an hour rather than 10 hours.
Expect double output from MagicTheGatheringUK.
Indeed.
Hand model gets 2 jobs.
Double-handed.
Double hand job, yeah.
Giggity giggity. Definitely need that new PC.
Alright. Got any more? Any more?
What else have I been playing?
Torchlight,
yeah. I played that for about an hour.
Oh, okay,
I thought we were going to tell us a bit more about it.
Yeah, so I didn't really get much into it, but...
What class are you playing as?
Warrior.
The fat one.
Yeah. That's what I always normally play on those type of games. Warrior or Paladin type character.
boring.
Yeah, it is
He
boring.
sucks.
So I played as the mage guy, and I went for it.
Yeah, Mage is okay. I think I still prefer the Ranger overall though, out of the three.
Range Rover.
Ranger.
Okay. It so sounded like Range Rover. I only played as the Range Rover and bulleted through.
One thing about that game, though, I'm not sure if it was the first one to do it or not, but they had that pet thing where you could tell it to go sell your shit.
Yeah.
Which is awesome, because a lot of games need that, like Skyrim, for example.
I'd be slightly freaked out if I was that shopkeeper, though, if this like leopard thing sort of like climbs up on the counter and goes, "You want some of this?"
Because it's highly irritating when you're going around and your inventory gets full up, and you're like, I'm stuck with all this shit now, I have to go all the way back to town, sell it all.
Well, the trouble with that was that eventually in Torchlight I started fucking that system up, where... Because the trouble with it is, you can send it back to town to sell shit, but say you want to like use the transmutation to make the gems for to fit in your weapon slots, you want to keep everything that's green or blue, because then you can transmute them into gems.
Alright.
So what I do is like I'd start off in this layer of the dungeon, I'd be going through, and then like, oh no, my inventory's full. So it's like, okay, shove everything that's green into my inventory, shove everything that's white into the pet inventory, send the pet away. And then it'd be like, okay, the pet's come back, continue. And then it's like, oh no, my inventory's full again. Oh no, there's too much stuff, so I can't even fit all the green stuff in my inventory any longer. So then it's like, drop all the green shit on the ground, put all the white shit in the pet's inventory, send it back to town, just stand there for 30 seconds waiting for it to come back, then pick up all the green shit I've just dropped, and then until eventually both our inventories are full of green shit, and then it's time to portal back to town. It's like, I fucked up the system by going too far again.
Yeah.
I tend not to go that extreme. It's just like, oh, I've got too much green stuff, town time.
Well, it is convenient that you can just town portal wherever.
Yeah.
To be honest, I didn't even know about the transmuting thing, so I've just been selling everything.
Well, yeah, that's true. The gems are maybe slightly annoying.
I never really ended up using all the gems. I was like, I transmuted the fuck out.
Well, I made
a stash of like really uber stuff that I never used.
Yeah, it's because, well, up until one of the later patches, there wasn't really a way to get the gems back very easily, which was the main problem. Because you're like, and the thing is, the gem transmutation tree is like so long, where you can like take two cracks and then combine them into a dull, and then combine the dull into the slightly better. So you never feel like you want to use them because it's like, oh, if I get another one, I can combine it and make this even better.
Yeah. You end up not using them because it's like just in case you get something like ridiculous. I end up using my shit ones like later on in the game.
Well, I use the ones like the fish scales you get from fishing that just give you a bonus to health regen, because you can't mutate them to be any better, so just jam them on. And I use quite a lot of the chaos gems because you can't transmute them either. No. So it's just like 2% faster attack. Oh well, it just fills the slot.
Yeah, I haven't bothered with any of that.
Yeah,
it's not you could do that.
Not that difficult. You don't really get stuff with slots as much as I'd like.
It's just something else to do in the menu.
Yeah, I guess.
It's not that fascinating.
Yeah. So I know Diablo 3 is introducing a system like that as well, isn't it? Where well, it did in the beta anyway, where instead of having a pet, you just have a cauldron in your inventory, which sort of
throws it into it.
Yeah, and it goes into the market and sells it for you, basically, which is awesome.
Carrying a fucking cauldron, though.
Like, what's Borderlands 2 going to do? That's an important question. Because the Borderlands 1 inventory was fucked.
Yeah, that was pretty awful.
You didn't have any space, and you couldn't keep anything ever, because you didn't have anywhere to store stuff until that DLC.
Yeah.
And now that with Borderlands 2 theoretical, like, being able to make guns out of gun parts or whatever.
At least there were plenty of like machines about, and you could just sell at machines.
Well, yeah, at the start of every zone, you do those the machine.
Sell.
Dump your shit off.
Keep only your good weapons that you actually use.
Yeah.
So the problem is, like Borderlands has so many cool guns.
Yeah.
That it's like you don't. It's like I've kept all the main ones, for instance, all of them.
Not all of those are very cool.
No, not all of them are very cool, but they're different from like everything else most of the time. So it's like I keep one, and it's like I want to be able to keep like an epic stash of all the funky stuff.
Yeah, but with the Borderlands like named weapons or whatever, they were always at a set level anyway, so they actually became outdated.
I hope they just let you like in the game, like, buy like ridiculous amounts of storage bay. You've got something to spend your money on, because it gets to the point where you just max out the money, don't you? And it's like, well, what the fuck am I going to do with this shit?
And it counts past the max as well.
It's like every game has that problem where you get too much money with nothing to do with it.
Yep.
Mainly because merchants never sell anything useful.
No.
It's like, why not just make a merchant that has really
That
awesome
actually,
stuff?
for some reason, has a mysteriously good item that you might want.
Well, you
Yeah.
can sort of, you do sort of get that in Torchlight, I guess. Because some of them, there's like the gambling merchant where you
Yeah.
can just buy random items, and most of the time they'll probably be shit, but
Yeah.
you never know. And then there's the other, what's the other thing you can spend cash on? Oh, enchanting.
Oh,
Where it's
yeah.
like, the more enchantments the item has on it, the more expensive it gets to enchant, but also
Actually-
the more chance you'll get to accidentally disenchant.
That is where most of my money went,
Yeah.
actually, in that game, was on that. And that's quite dodgy, because it's like, oh, I fucked it up.
Yeah, it's really bad when you disenchant something that had awesome shit on it. You're like, shit. And there's an achievement for like enchanting something 20 times.
Yeah.
I still haven't got that.
No, I didn't. I don't think I even got the 10.
It's
It was
ridiculous.
hard. And it got really,
And so
really
expensive.
Yeah. That was the thing to use money for in Torchlight. Save it for a very, very, very long time, and then enchant the shit out of something.
But don't forget to keep an eye open for the enchantment fountains. Fuck yes, enchantment fountains. Every time you see one of them, it's like, woo, free enchantments, because that has a much lower percentage chance to disenchant.
Mm.
Like half as much percentage.
Yeah, I didn't really see those on my run. I saw like one.
You didn't get
I
to the
think.
right places.
No, I saw like one for the entire
Well, it's
game.
random, of course, which doesn't help.
Yeah.
How far down did you say you were?
21?
That's quite a long way for
That
an
is,
hour.
that is quite a long
Well,
way.
no, I've been playing it like 7 hours, but I played it for like an
Oh,
hour
you-
before.
Right, okay.
Man,
That makes more sense.
You're going through it faster than I did.
Really?
I think it took me like 15, 16 hours to get
You were
to
playing
it.
on lunch breaks though, so you couldn't concentrate on it so much.
No, true, but I was
Is
still...
there isn't anything else to do though, is there? Other than dive into that.
It's true.
Yeah.
And you,
I'm level 22 or something character.
I can't remember how deep it actually is. I think it's only like 31,
35, I think. Something
30
like that.
something is the last
Yeah.
boss.
Yeah, so you're going through it faster than I did.
What like tile set are you in?
Lava. I just got to
Right,
dwarves
lava.
and lava.
Yeah. Does dwarves come before lava or after lava? I always get that wrong.
It's on lava.
No, that's goblins.
Oh, goblins. Yeah, that's it.
Because there's actual dwarven ruins.
I haven't got to the dwarves.
Okay,
yet.
dwarven ruins must come after lava. I always thought that was dumb. Where it's like you come into this giant lava, you come from like
yeah.
like jungle and caves, then you get the lava, and then under the lava somehow there's a dwarven ruin. It's like, how does that work?
How did they get there?
Yeah.
Why are they always dwarven ruins? Why are dwarves always the
Dead.
ones dying out or dead? Yeah.
Dwarves suck.
It's because they always in like fantasy worlds, dwarves always try and make like mechanical shit, and then
Yeah.
fantasy shit comes along and owns them.
Yeah. It's like, if you're living in a fantasy world, do not embrace science. You will die.
Yeah, basically.
Embrace mysterious magical stuff.
And then you can go on to the infinite dungeon
Sweet.
after the end of Torchlight, which is really annoying because there's an achievement for like getting down to level 100. Apart from you go down to like level 30 in the game, which is where the boss is, and then when that achievement is actually for an entirely separate dungeon, so you start from 1 again.
Yeah.
It's like, god fucking damn it.
I've got to do the first 30. You guys basically get to level 130, really.
Yeah. Apart from that dungeon is balanced to your level, so it starts difficult or whatever.
Mm.
It's not like you're doing level 1 to 30 again in the normal dungeon where you just walk through everything.
I never bothered with many of the scroll things either, because you get like the scroll dungeons.
I did quite a lot of them until they started repeating.
Mm.
This is like, as soon as I'd seen every layout, I was like, oh, guess I don't need to do these anymore.
I don't really. I never bought scrolls. I sort of, you started finding them, didn't you? At the
Yeah, you
start of
just
the
get
game,
them.
but then I didn't really find any higher level ones as I went through.
Well, they
They're
stop
always
at, like,
they're always like
25 to
level 5.
25 to question mark, aren't they?
Mm.
Where they just scale to your level after 25.
Mm. But yeah, I rarely saw them like after. I never found them as drops, and I didn't want to spend my money on buying them. So it's yeah. Torchlight was cool. When's Torchlight 2 due yet?
That's what they've said. Sometime this
Really?
year.
Okay.
Still.
It's been
Good.
due for ages.
Yeah. That life co-op.
Yeah. Get into that shit.
You won't play that though, will you?
I might do.
Man enters dungeon, kills things, leaves dungeon.
Presumably that'll work on the same screen. I mean, it won't be split screen, it'll be contained in
Yeah.
the same screen. Presumably.
It might work like that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, if they make it for a console,
But
that's
again-
how I did it
But then
work.
again, I bet the specs aren't that high on PC
Well,
requirements,
no.
so you could just, shitty laptop could run it.
The other question is whether it will be
As well as a good
how many
laptop.
co-op.
Many laptops
Will
are
it be
available.
2, or will it be
What?
how many players? That's the question. Will it be
2.
2-player co-op, or will it be actually more?
Yeah.
2.
Yeah, I'm imagining it will be 2, which will suck. Should at least be 3, 1 of each class.
Yeah. Or unless they're expanding the class.
What was it in Diablo 2? Was that like 3 or 4? Or was that just 2 as well?
I never played it.
1 million.
Diablo 2 had weird online anyway. So
Yeah, it was bizarre. Yeah.
it was fucked.
It was funny though.
Your cat is fucking your chair up.
It's alright, it's the carpet under the chair.
Okay. Carpet which is not on your floor, we should mention. It's a
it's
little mini bit of carpet. It's not just your carpet.
I need to get some more little bits of carpet. They're quite useful for distracting the cat.
And putting under things.
Yes.
Anything else, Kippers?
More Skyrim, obviously.
Yeah.
Oh.
Whatever.
Not
Have
really
you
much.
done anything actually interesting? Did you have any hilarious Skyrim moments?
Where have I got to? Is it Riften or something?
Right, yeah. You have to go and find the old dude.
Yeah, I've got this thing where I've got to speak to this dude, but I can't actually speak to him because he keeps giving me these stupid thief quests. So I can't speak to him about the main story because he keeps giving me these stupid, like, steal this ring and
Oh, right, yeah.
plant it in
I
someone's
know what you're
pocket.
talking. Well, I don't think you actually have to talk to that specific guy to find out where you have to go.
Right,
I think
okay.
you can talk to, like, the bartender in the
right,
inn
yeah,
or
yeah.
something, and they'll also say... Or you could just go there. You could,
Yeah.
if you can sort of intuit that the one place you have to go is into the sewers.
Yeah. Everyone does keep going, go to the sewers, don't
Yeah.
go in the sewers.
Don't go to the sewers. No, that means you go to the sewers.
Naturally.
And I'm just, at the moment, I'm just kind of walking through it because I've got this Demora Lord bloke that I conjure up and he just owns everyone in like one hit. And
You've
it's
got
like,
some awesome conjuring power, have you?
I'm up to like 96 conjuring. Or something.
Okay, that makes sense.
He's a massive conjurer.
I conjure my sword, I conjure my Demora Lord. It's just, yeah.
Yeah. That tends to be what happens in Skyrim if you overlevel on one skill. It just becomes ludicrously powerful. Like my archery or my main character or my sneak attack on my second character.
Yeah. That sneak is insane.
That's
100
stupid.
Sneak attack is awesome.
But dumb.
So bad. Dagger sneak attack specifically.
Yeah, dead.
Yes, basically.
Dagger.
I can't remember what I did something else in Skyrim. Mainly because they did that update on the PC where they put in the high-res texture pack, and that didn't work very well on my computer for some reason. And I had those mods that I installed to try and fix some stuff that I can't remember. And I made another goddamn character. Because I was like, right, this time I'm going to make a new character and I'm going to play this in the most generic way possible. Here we are, one-handed attack, magic in the elf hand. Let's do this. I'm going to play this game how theoretically normal people play it.
That's how I play.
But I didn't get very far, so... Well, it's because it's like, oh, here we go, do those same goddamn things. Do that goddamn first barrow again, and then the first dragon fight again, and then save enough money to buy the first house again.
Yeah.
I've done this shit so many times, not seeing anything new.
So you're not a big fan of the replay on this then, really?
Well, because there is no reason to do it, really.
Other than the class thing.
Yeah, unless you want to experiment, and unless you think that somehow you might enjoy the game in a different way and you don't want to just sit there and grind skills forever. I mean, I did go back to my main character for a while and did some stupid shit like maxed out. Did I max out enchanting or did I just get quite high enchanting? Oh no, I was fucking around with making...
I get quite high enchanting. So it's the fumes, man.
I was fucking around with alchemy again to see if I could actually make some... Actually try and make some decent potions instead of just shit potions. Because the thing is, alchemy has this... Unlike... When you're leveling up blacksmithing... The cat is doing a grand tour of our faces. Like, when you level up blacksmithing, you just make 1,000,000 iron daggers.
Yeah.
Because they just give you all the same experience.
Dagger.
But when you're doing alchemy, it levels up based on how expensive the potion is.
Oh, I see. So you have to do good alchemy.
Well, sort of, except the price that potions have is only based on, like certain effects give it a higher price than others. So some effects give you almost no price increase, like just generic damage health poison give you virtually no price on the potion, but certain other ones do, which basically means the best potions for leveling up in alchemy are shit,
Oh, right.
It's like you're making a potion that combines like it gives you invisibility for some number of seconds, and it also gives you 100% less magic regen for some period of seconds. It's like they're basically completely useless because they just fuck you up in some way. Because they're not actually proper potions; they're potions combined with poisons.
So can you like give them to other people? Then?
Well, you just sell them to merchants for a shit ton of cash. But unfortunately, because they're worth a shit ton of cash, you can't sell them to merchants because merchants never have any fucking
money.
cash. You just end up with a huge pile of shitty potions. But then I went back and I was like, okay, now I'm going to try and make them actual, real, useful potions. And I discovered some fairly nice combos where it's like, I can make a potion where you drink it, you become invisible for 30 seconds, and you get like 100% health regen for 30 seconds.
That's quite neat.
So it's like the super escape potion.
It's like, oh fuck.
And then I was like, wait, I can add another ingredient and make it so you become invisible, you get health regen, and then for 3 minutes after you become visible again, you also get enhanced archery. Sweet. So I was looking for awesome combos to actually use.
It's quite a precise like thing for a potion to improve, isn't it? Really, it's like
Archery.
Yeah, it's like it won't improve how well you can throw or general athleticism. No, just your archery.
Your one-handed weapons or your two-handed weapons, totally separate effects. Or somehow it'll improve your light armor using.
Yeah, not your heavy armor using.
Yeah,
That is silly.
it's classic.
Silly.
I can't remember what other stupid. I was trying to make decent poisons as well because I used the poisons on my bow. But and of course, I still remember. I sort of realised very soon again once I started playing my main character again that it was almost totally irrelevant. Putting poisons on my bow is totally pointless because my bows pretty much just kill everything in one shot anyway. So just adding some more damage doesn't really matter.
I don't need to sort of bleed out.
No. So yeah, Skyrim.
Yep.
Still Skyrim.
It's still
Have you got
fun.
anything other than Skyrim, for the love of God, please, to talk about?
Tube. I don't think I've played anything
Tube,
else.
tube.
I don't think so.
COD.
Usual
Tube.
stuff.
I still need to
Your
play
mental
more.
game mode on COD Black Ops.
Yeah, that was always hilarious.
Oh, that was great.
You run at like 200 miles an hour.
Well, that's like what we did on Halo that one time.
It is.
as well.
It's kind of like the Challenge Dome in many, many ways.
Except you get ridiculous amounts of care packages. You kill one person, you get 2 care packages.
Multiplying.
So they start, basically there was one time when Summit, I think, was the best level for it because we ended up just all the care packages just appeared in the middle of the level, like piling up into something, and of course people would go and run and try and grab them all, and then a load of grenades would come in. And it was great. Yeah, so you get 2 care packages on every kill. Often one of them always being like an airdrop SAM turret, as it turned out.
I made it so the first one was always a SAM turret because
to get rid
people,
of choppers.
Yeah, because people kept getting annoyed with the choppers.
Yeah, so you got fuck tons of those. They're really weird, those, aren't they? Because it's like airdrop SAM turret, tell us where you want it, and you think you're just going to throw it,
Yeah,
and the SAM
exactly,
turret's going to drop down. But no, it doesn't. What happens is a crate drops with the SAM in it, which you then pick up and put somewhere. It's like, just give me the SAM.
It's like, don't add a crate into this other pile of crates.
Exactly. But yeah, he made it so the running was fast anyway. But then it took me a while to just because I forgot that you could sprint in COD for a while because
Because you're already going so
I was
fast.
moving so fast, I didn't need it. And then you push the button, you're like, like you're in turbo mode. And the funniest thing is that you guys were diving all over the place, which is actually a really shit combat tactic, I think, for the game, because you end up diving so far, you overshot by miles, and then people just shoot you in the back.
Yeah, you dive literally like halfway
You're
across
like,
the map.
"Rah!"
And if you're not careful, you can dive like,
Off a ledge.
or yeah, you dive over a hill or something and you kill yourself.
Or from full
I have hurt myself from diving, yeah. It's like, whoa. It's bloody hilarious.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I need to play Modern Warfare 3 some more because I've kind of been ignoring that game and just playing Black Ops more because it's so much better.
Yeah. My fears seem to be true. That I thought Black Ops would just be better than Modern Warfare. Because I didn't get into Modern Warfare 2 at all. At all.
It's different. Like Modern Warfare 3 is completely different, but I still prefer Black Ops, to be honest.
Yeah, more fun.
I
And
suck at
all the
Modern Warfare
douchebags
3.
seem to have left. To go play Modern Warfare 3. Don't come back.
Get out of my bag.
If the one they released this year is Black Ops 2, then I'll be right on that.
Yeah.
They shouldn't just not release one this year.
Yeah,
They will, though.
I think it's already been sort of like said that it's happening.
Yeah.
They just haven't said what it is.
No. You're right. I am suffering from Modern Warfare or like Call of Duty fatigue.
Modern Warfare in space.
Modern Warfare in space.
I mean, Future Warfare could be interesting.
Yeah, it could well be.
Provided they actually make it actual future and not like near future, like the other, like Gore or whatever.
Yeah, go full on. Make it like totally fucking.
Yeah, like
mental.
lasers and.
Yeah, make it like Battlefield 2142. You know, that
So
kind of
even
shit.
more so.
Just make it like they'll probably just make it like Halo, wouldn't they?
Yeah, probably,
Yeah.
I guess. Because that's the trouble. It's like once you start going a certain distance in the future, you stop being in the future and you start being sci-fi.
Yeah, that is tricky, isn't it? But the thing is like I think a lot of sci-fi. The thing to remember about sci-fi is it would pretty much guaranteed not go like the sci-fi universe has depicted it. It's like not many sci-fi universes are really that plausible. People wouldn't replace like insta-kill guns with a sort of pansy-looking laser that takes time to travel through the air and
Or you have to charge it up for 10 minutes.
yeah, set phaser to stun. Come on, bitch! now I'm ready to shoot. It's like no, they just use guns. Perhaps with blue flares instead of yellow ones. It's like a lot of sci-fi just wouldn't work the way that it's said.
I said I was listening to like last year's podcast that was approximately around this time,
Yes.
and on it we were discussing like what should be the next what should be next Angry Birds.
Oh yeah.
It's like, because the actual answer apparently is Angry Birds in space.
Yeah.
But we were like, Angry Birds and with water physics, and you go under the water and you have seahorses instead of pigs.
Yeah.
It's like, well, not quite.
No, we were a bit wrong.
Although the thing is, was like, our solution made more sense than in space, because space makes no sense.
Well, no, it means they can mess with the gravity.
Well, yeah, but no
Quite a
gravity in
lot.
space.
They can have like orbiting like patterns, perhaps.
Yeah.
I bet they won't.
No.
No, probably not. It'll probably just be gravity.
Yeah, it'll probably just be exactly the same, only with a space background.
Yeah. And pigs will be having in giant helmets or something.
Yeah.
Well, they're probably not wearing
Goldfish
space
balls.
helmets. They'll just be like surrounded in glass.
Yeah, makes perfect sense. Hamster balls.
Yeah. But what is it? There's I was trying to think the name of because there's this one prolific rip-off developer or something, and they made it like it wasn't like called Angry Birds or something. It was
It's called something similar.
it was called like Disgruntled Avians or something.
Yeah.
And this developer has like made hundreds of rip-off games, and they're like all over the App Store. And Apple finally pulled the plug, I think, recently, saying you can't do this anymore. You suck.
It's like all Minecraft rip-offs.
So I
No,
paid
there's
3.
loads of them.
Oh yeah, there's fucking tons of them. Like we talked about
Total
these weeks
Miner.
ago. Total
Castle
Miner.
Miner.
What was it? The guy who made that actually went on record, I think, like either in the last 2 weeks or I think we may have talked about it on the cast before actually, but he went on the record saying it's totally not a rip-off. It's like mine's more about the creation, whereas Minecraft has like an adventure and things, and you kill a dragon. It's like not when your game came out, it didn't. This what a douchebag.
Minecraft on 360.
Yeah.
Whenever that's going to happen.
Oh.
It's supposed to be soon, isn't it?
I'm excited for
Really?
that. Yeah.
Is it? But why? Because it will be like the PC version with shitter controls.
Well, I guess, but I don't know. I just prefer console games. I don't like playing on computers.
I could put Minecraft all up in my telly.
Exactly.
It's true.
There is a kind of niceness to the Minecraft aesthetic, I suppose.
Then again,
Seeing it in HD would be cool.
The only problem I have
Not
with
80.
the worry I have for the console version is how they're going to handle the updates. Because obviously they change a lot about the game.
Well,
and
I think,
I wonder if it'll
they're almost done with updates at this point, though, aren't they, really?
I wonder if they'll tap into the sort of, as I say, the sort of little mini non-update system that they now have.
I don't know if they could for Minecraft, because when they do actually update, they normally add things, like legitimately different things.
And also there's a very good question as to how it's going to be coded, because Minecraft is historically Java.
Yeah.
And the Xbox is not a Java platform. And like, I bet it doesn't have any, if it's a weird port where they've just wrapped a Java engine in a C# XNA, whatever you want to call it, sort of messed up system. This isn't going to be very helpful for updates, is it? It's like, I reckon it must have ported the whole thing to...
I don't think they're going to update it. I think, in fact, the main thing is I don't think it's going to be like Minecraft.
No, I reckon it'll be quite different.
I reckon it will just be like creative mode, and therefore won't ever need updating because creative mode is like once you have the tool set for creative mode.
No, I don't reckon it will. I reckon it'll be the adventure mode because creative mode is pointless.
To you,
No one would buy it
well, I don't know.
because on the Xbox you can't share the stuff. So
Well, that depends, unless they put in a server system.
I reckon they'll have had to have put quite a bit of effort into getting that working. Yeah.
But yeah, you have to have the adventure mode because people were complaining about it enough on the mobile version that it didn't have it.
Yeah, that's true. But that won't necessarily stop them.
I reckon it'll be fairly full-featured, but I reckon you're right. I reckon it'll suffer from lack of updates.
Well, considering that they announced it and then delayed it for so long, it's like maybe they realised.
Yeah.
I reckon it was going to be the creation mode only, like it was on the mobile, and then they thought, actually, people are pissed off about that.
Yeah. Maybe they realised.
So does Jammy have anything she wants to talk about in terms of what you've been playing this past fortnight?
What have you been
Or whatever, since she's never been on the podcast before.
Yeah, you've got free reign.
The only thing is that all the games you've talked about are the ones I've been playing already, so I haven't got anything different to say.
Has Kippers basically taken all the words right out of your mouth?
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, at least she's not putting things in it.
I was
Not
going
right now, anyway.
to say about the new Minecraft updates, but Burger pretty much covered them as well.
But you have a different opinion at all? Or did I cover it? Well, I guess I only described what they were.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know, some of them are quite useful, but some of them, like, they've put the ability to put stairs upside down now, which apparently could be cool, but I don't see
Wait,
the
what?
point of it.
That's a creative thing.
For like Escher.
Yeah.
Well, it's because when you're making things out of blocks, obviously, if you have like the block is like a jagged staircase or whatever, and then staircases were like half steps to make it look smooth,
Oh, I see.
and you couldn't do that onto the underside of blocks.
Yeah.
So now you can put them upside down to make it.
And you can put half blocks on top of blocks and half blocks on top of half blocks
Yeah, so
now.
they don't float now.
Yeah.
That's essentially that's essentially making it so you can put half blocks on the underside of things as well. Basically, is what that is. Not that.
So, like, if you try and put a cake on a half block, it won't float anymore.
But there's all kinds of shit that floats if you put shit on top of half blocks or on top of cakes.
That's always annoying.
On top of most, like...
What part of a floating cake would be annoying?
It just looks
messy.
weird.
It's a floating cake.
I discovered when I was labelling my Buildcraft creations that because the Buildcraft pipes are small, much smaller than a brick, and they're sort of in the middle of a square essentially, so they can junction out in all directions. Put a side post on top of that, and it was like, well, that side post now floating over there, the traditional. And the Buildcraft pipes are slightly annoying for walking on, because you can walk on them, which is sort of convenient if you want to get up into your pipe networks, but because they don't really count as a full block height, you can't hold shift and not fall off them and stuff like that. The traditional problems with half bricks in Minecraft.
There was a couple of things you didn't mention as well, like I don't know if this is 1.1 or 1.2, the zombies breaking down villages.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
they can break
1.2.
doorways.
Oh, can they?
Yeah. And
Apparently you need a lot of
Making,
zombies.
making doors not invincible anymore.
Yeah. But only for zombies, which are the least dangerous mob.
And the iron golem.
Yeah. You can make the equivalent of the snow golem, only it can actually do something.
yeah, to protect the villages.
And they have babies.
And the villages have babies now.
Yeah. I'm sure that's really annoying.
I just got a flashback to, do you remember, what was it called? Bumpkins and something.
Yeah,
That
Beast
was
and
awesome.
Bumpkins.
Beast and Bumpkins, yeah, when every night there's a shag fest going on called Tonight.
Yeah.
You
fancy a
I
bit
think
of
you
rough and
referenced that on the
tumble.
podcast last year as well. Or one of the other ones I was listening to recently.
We've come full circle.
That game was funny because the mushrooms are brilliant.
Yeah, just eat all the mushrooms.
Yeah.
Get trippy.
That was pretty funny.
Fancy a bit of rough and tumble? Oh, yes, please.
Those fucking sound effects every goddamn night.
As well, yeah. It was weird. That was in the day, back in the days where for some reason there was a sudden rush of PC strategy games. Right?
It's like ripping off Warcraft 2, basically.
Yeah.
Was the plan.
But that was more about management, wasn't it? Than
Kinda. Not as bad as Constructor.
Not as bad.
That was the super management
That
one.
was awesome, that game.
that was about pure baby making.
Yeah, more shagging in that.
And it was broken, so you couldn't actually finish it.
Yeah. Although it was fucking, even just the campaign missions were fucking difficult anyway, because the AI was not retarded, but it's like, it did things at exactly the right, as fast as possible, basically. It didn't give you a chance. Bastards. Right.
I'm just trying to remember what some of the voices in Constructor, but can't. I just remember they sounded a bit like.
It was hippies.
Yeah.
And chat equivalents.
Yeah. They
Squatters.
were the baby makers.
Yeah.
And posh people.
I remember the tiny baby sprites.
Yeah, so do I.
That bounced up and down.
They were quite shiny for some reason. Everything in that game, every person was
Yeah.
quite shiny in that game.
It was that classic 90s rendering technique where everything just looked shiny for some reason.
Yeah.
Polygons.
It's like, look what we've done. We've made shiny shit.
Well, I still find that in games now from like the Unreal Engine. Everything's really shiny a lot of the time.
I guess.
I think they've got over the fact of people's faces being shiny. There aren't many shiny faces anymore. There's a lot of beard faces.
Beards.
There are a lot of beards. Gristle.
But no one's done proper beards for ages. It was like Black and White 2 was the only beard game.
Oh, what about Bearded Dom in Gears 3?
Yeah, but that's hardly, that's like,
Or Dusty.
that's shitty.
Dizzy even. He got a proper beard.
no, they're not, they're poopy poop.
The poopy poopy. He's got a
Makarov
proper
in Black Ops.
He's got... Oh, yeah.
It's like, that was like one of the stupid touted features of Black and White 2 was like hair technology, where it's like your creature has proper hair and the beard on the advisor is super hairy, but it doesn't fucking work on ATI, which is what I had at the time. Or was it NVIDIA? I can't remember if that was
This
an
was
ATI
the
game.
time, well, that was about the time though when hair was kind of a newfangled thing, wasn't it? Like, because they made a big deal of Star Fox Adventures having that hair tech that made Star Fox actually look sort of hairy. Yeah, even if it was just a weird sort of like texture duplication technique.
Yeah.
It kind of worked.
But no one's done that for ages since.
Because they can render hair properly most of the time now.
Not really.
Or just don't need to, or the texture detail on the faces is high enough that they don't need to bother.
But it still looked bad a lot of the time. No one's bothered to innovate hair technology to actually make it look good in a like load kind of way.
I know Techno tried, didn't they, with their ribbon hair that
Yeah.
totally looked awful. Hair is just generally tricky though.
Yeah, obviously.
It's like, and I think most developers sort of realise after a while, you know what? Fuck that shit. We're giving everyone a crew cut.
Or a helmet.
Or a helmet, yeah. Generic Space Marine. Go. So I've been playing Rage.
Yeah.
Have I got time? Oh, I've got a bit of time.
Yeah.
We're doing alright. Rage! So after last week's discussion of, doesn't look that bad, does it?
Getting stuck in doorways.
And getting my car stuck in doorways. And Rick mouthing something.
I'm hungry.
Are you hungry, are you?
Yeah.
Okay. Food time for Kippers. I will stop everything.
Yeah, thanks for joining us today.
Stop everything. Rick's hungry, and you don't want to see him when he gets hungry.
Rage.
But yeah, so I'm like 10 hours into this now. And, I reckon I'm only halfway through. This is actually quite a long game, which is surprising. Because at first I thought, I was like, I found the main town, this is where it's going to happen. And I found myself doing most of the jobs there and clearing that off pretty quickly. And it's like, thankfully, and I've only just noticed when I've done some of the harder stuff in the town now that I haven't got the achievements for it, meaning I'm probably going to go somewhere else. And there's like a whole nother half of the game left. And I've only got like half the mission achievements and stuff like that as well. So it's actually quite big. Although it does pad its length, it has to be said, with like, you do every major mission area twice.
Right.
Like, you do it once to sort of blow it the fuck up, and then a second time to sort of get something that you supposedly missed. Like, so you go to this bomb factory or something, and you blow it the fuck up, and then somehow it's mostly intact, and you go back the second time, and it's like, actually, they're working on an advanced version of what you like blew up last time. Go back and get it, and it's like, oh, for fuck's sake. So there's a bit of area reuse, which is a bit annoying. It's not too bad because, as I said before, most areas you go to, you face like the enemies change in each area. So every time you go somewhere new, it's like you're not facing the same guys again. You're facing like a different clan or a different squad. So it's like you only really see the English people once. And then you go somewhere else and you get like the suited guys, and you go somewhere else and you get the mutant guys, and So it's kind of nice and varied in that respect.
Hmm.
And I have to say, the animations on the mutants are pretty fucking awesome. I know you said awful, but they are quality because they come running towards you and they do this thing where I think it's like a combination of animation and like ragdolling, where if you shoot them while they're running at you, they sort of the way they fall over is completely believable. It's like it's not just some ragdoll plump on the floor. It's like they sort of stumble around for a bit and then sort of fall over and then end up in a ragdoll pile because of it. And that looks brilliant.
I have to say, I played the demo of Rage on the Xbox, and it runs at 60 frames per second on Xbox,
I know,
it looks amazing.
This is the thing I'm missing, because obviously playing the PC version, I don't get the kind of technical impressiveness of it, I don't think. It's like, but yeah, if it looks as good as the PC version that I'm playing on a console, that's an achievement. It has to be said. That is properly good. And in fairness, the texture issues that I have with it are probably slightly less on console, because your console can get away with slightly less texture detail. I'm looking at you, Black Ops. It's, it doesn't look too bad when the texture detail's not that hot on it's like a 720 screen or something. When I'm playing full 1080, it's a bit of an issue, but it's
A party popper.
That is going to have to be bleeped out of this podcast. That was insanely loud.
Man, you're giving the editing process some work here.
What's that big spike on there?
It's probably us laughing at some point. That's what usually makes giant spikes on our recording.
Yeah. No, actually, let's make this great. It's normally Zac laughing that creates the spikes.
I love party poppers.
As my reaction was. Yeah. I think it's a shame that they went down the car route a little bit too much.
Right.
Because in fairness, that's kind of the weakest aspect
Because
of
it
the
was
game.
like Borderlands where the cars were shit.
Yeah, it's like, in fairness, that's kind of the weakest aspect of the game, so it seems a bit strange that ID, or id, however you say it, have been a little bit too enthusiastic about it. I mean, they're quite cool, but it's made incredibly easy by the fact that as soon as you get to Wellspring, you can do all the racing missions.
Right.
Like, admittedly, that's not all of them that are in the game, but I pretty much did all of them in one go. So I did all of the racing missions and got myself a fucking ridiculously cool souped-up Caprino, which basically just wipes everything out without taking any damage. So it's like, well, I've kind of probably done the gaming way of doing this section, but in actual fact made it really, really easy. So it's like, all the vehicles have lost their punch for me. But it's thankfully, the gunplay is quality. It's like, it's really good. All the weapons have proper, hard feel to them, something that ID has always been really good at. The weapons feel good. It's like a fairly traditional set of weapons, like your assault rifle, your shotgun, your pistol, your electro crossbow.
Yeah, very traditional.
but they all feel quality and all feel meaty, and they even though you're having to use the number keys really to sort of get the full use, because there are times where it's like you get into a fight and it's like, oh, actually I haven't got that weapon on the quick switch, and they'll just use the number key to get to it, something like that. And it's the PC version does in theory that's better because you can do that on PC, whereas on the Xbox, if you find yourself in trouble, you have to go to the pause menu and then pick out the weapon you want, assign it probably to a D-pad direction, then go back in and then use the D-pad to get to it, which would be a bit of a pain in the arse. I don't have to do that. I can just go, this is a perfect opportunity for a snipe button, go. And it's effective because of that. I find myself not using the special weaponry quite so much. You can get these RC bomb cars that are actually really cool. You sort of drive them around and go, hello guys, and they sort of go, what's that? Boom! In casual fashion, and they all die spectacularly. And I find myself not using them enough, really, because they're cool. Right. The problem is that it has this crafting system, so you find shit about, and then you sort of build it up as you want, and you can build stuff at any time, just in the menu, So I find myself hoarding all these ingredients until I find something I actually need to use it for. So it's like, oh look, there's a lock I can't grate through. Let's make a lock grinder, put it on door, problem solved. So I end up not making all the cool stuff. I don't need to build an RC car here, really. I can just shoot the fuckers. It's a grenade will do just as well. Or I end up buying the stuff. So it's I could make wing sticks. No, but they only a $5 each. I'll buy them. You get quite a bit of money as well, so that's not really a problem.
So is that just because they use the same ingredients for different things? So you're saving them for things that are useful rather than just cool?
Yeah, there are some crossovers. If I wanted, you can make electro bolts, for instance, or mind control darts was the thing that I just discovered, which I haven't used any of yet. And you shoot them into like heavily armoured guys, and they go mental. Of course, I don't know. Maybe I can actually take control of them. Would be cool, but or I don't know how that works. Because I never bothered. I just fought my way through that section. But yeah, it's actually surprisingly good. I quite like it. I quite like it a lot. Although it looks like it may all the sort of variation that I talked about between sections may sort of disappear because I'm starting to fight the Authority. And the Authority are like the main bad guys, and they're basically just guys in power suits. It's like, so I get the theory that they'll sort of take over the game, and I won't have to fight like many bandits anymore because it's like now you're in the Resistance, you're fighting the Authority, blah. It's like so it might go a bit shit from here in. But I have nicked one of their assault rifles, which is quite nice. Like,
maybe you can finish it.
Maybe I can finish it. Yeah,
you've got time.
I've got plenty of time. Yeah. We haven't mentioned that yet.
Yeah, we don't need to mention it.
No, we don't need to.
So why did you bring it up?
You brought
For
it
the
up.
intrigue.
I know. That was the whole point of that. It was irony, Kippers.
Anyway, shut the fuck up. Let's move on. Yeah.
Shut the fuck up, let's move on. Oh wait, it's me that meant to be talking.
Yeah. Oh, and I found the AI quite impressive as well. Like, the squad AI is pretty good. They'll, like, fall back as a team if you kill too many of your guys or you put up too much of a fight without finishing them off. After a while, they'll actually fall back, like, as a group. And it's like, that's kind of cool to see. And they start shouting it with fairly good, like, vocals over. And like, it's like, oh my god, he's killing us all, fall back, and things like that. And it's like, it's believable, which is unusual, I think, for a lot of shooty games. Like, the COD, let's be honest, it has no AI.
It's terrible.
Stand in one place, shoot at you through fog.
It's god awful.
It's kind of how it works. They do, like, COD just gets away with it by volume, I think, rather than actual smarts. This feels a lot like... I think, to me, it feels like the AI that the original Half-Life should have had, if you know what I mean. Because the way when the original Half-Life was, like, built up, it's like, oh, it's an amazing squad AI and stuff like that. And don't get me wrong, for the time it was good. I just imagined it because of all the hype being better than it was. And I think the animation of the squads might have had something to do with that. It was kind of clunky. It was like...
Yeah.
Whereas this is all very slick and very smooth, and there are a few animations that look kind of dodgy. For instance, if you shoot them enough, sometimes they'll fall over on their ass and kind of have a moment where they try and lift their gun and fire a few shots off. And if you get a shot on them during that phase, there's a sort of weird delay between them getting hit and then actually dying. So there are some flaws in the animation, which probably holds it off from greatness, I suppose. But as a straight shooter, solid, really solid. And wing sticks are fun. Just, throw them at someone, their head falls off. It's
entertainment.
Yeah. Gotta have something. And the shotgun is fucking awesome. You can run up to anyone and go, BAM! I win! Not much in the way of gibbage, though, which is unusual for an ID game. They seem to ditch this. It feels like they perhaps should have made, like, a proper multiplayer element to this, because they've got the gunplay and the feel of it really quite right. And it's like, why didn't you bother making a proper multiplayer rather than car multiplayer? Which, to be honest, I haven't tried, but it sounds like it's going to suck after doing all the races. It's like, it's not that great. Sure, you get rockets, but, when has vehicle combat ever been that good?
Apart from games specifically designed for it, I guess.
But you see, I've never been a massive fan of them even then. It's like, I didn't really get into Vigilante that much.
Perhaps you should try the new Twisted Metal or whatever it's called.
that is supposed to be good. I've never played any of the Twisted Metal series.
Speaking of new games that someone might want to try, what about new SSX?
I downloaded the
That
demo.
actually looks quite good.
I downloaded the demo, but I didn't play it, did I? I deleted it without playing it.
Okay, so why exactly did you do that?
Because I'm never even a fan of snowboarding games anyway.
But we used to play Cool Borders 3.
But that was like years ago, and that's the only one I've ever played that was good.
But I'll be honest, I have to admit, since then, there's not really been much that's caught my eye. I mean, I did play through Amped 3, but only because that was kind of retarded, and it was like snowboarding on drugs. It didn't really have much of a basis in any kind of reality, especially when you get to the step when you're grinding down pipes filled with snow sharks, going.
Oh yeah, the classic.
That was amazing. That was probably one of the funniest moments in recent video game history. Just having snow sharks that literally went. It was properly quality. shittest part of the game, probably in terms of gameplay, but fucking hilarious. But this actually looks really good. They seem to have gone back to the sort of essence of snowboarding. Well, it's like the original Tony Hawk's games, I think, where they've gone back to the sort of the feel of how everything handles. You know what I mean? The original Tony Hawk's were great for that, and then they got a bit mental with the gimmicks as games went on, and it lost some of its way. And that was what Skate tried to capitalise on. It's like, Tony Hawk's, you've gone fucked up. We're going to come back and sort of go back on reality, and perhaps went a bit too far on the real front, but they made money from it, you know. So I think SSX is trying to do that. They're trying to sort of...
It's not very much real about SSX.
No, but I think they're trying to go back towards just the feel of the core controls is the game.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm actually quite intrigued by that, because a lot of the reviewers are going, you know what, might not be the best SSX they've ever made, but they've gone back to what is a fantastic feeling. And it's like, that's a rare thing in video games.
It might be good, but it doesn't really interest me, is the problem.
Yeah. I think that would be my problem with it, is that I'm not sure I'd be committed to a game like that, if you know what I mean. Because these games require dedication to learn the controls. It's like a fighting game.
I'm not sure it does, really.
Well, if it's done right, then the finesse of getting the controls right is and combined with exploration. Don't get me wrong, you have to experiment with your routes quite a lot, I think, if these games are done right.
Yeah.
There's a certain amount of, I'm not sure I'd be dedicated enough to do the exploration. I'm quite a lazy gamer these days. I think if I was like 10 years ago when I started playing this...
I'm the laziest game of all nowadays.
I think if it was 10 years ago when I had the ability to get more into an individual game and really delve in and like rip it apart, then it would appeal to me more. You know, back in the days where I used to like spend hours customizing vehicles on F-Zero because that game was amazing.
I don't think for what I don't know, because all I've seen is the video and not like how it's actually played, but from the looks of SSX, it's like you go off a ramp and then you just mash buttons and your guy just starts out until you land. It doesn't look like Tony Hawk's where there's actually maybe some... I mean, it's like, they did say it's like, oh, you can, if you push the button and this direction, then you grab with both hands on this side. It's like, does that really matter? You're just spinning crazily.
Well, from the reviews I've read, there's a certain finesse to using the right tricks and the right jumps at the right time, depending on the event you're playing. So if you go like on a crazy trick jump, for instance, there's no like, and you're doing a speed event, that's actually probably going to hurt you.
Yeah, but that's
because
not really...
it's not like you, because if you do a trick, you know, in most games, if you do like a ridiculous trick jump, you'll probably end up with something like boost.
Well, you get
or
boosted in SSX though.
I know, but
for doing tricks.
I know, but you end up with but apparently in this, it's like balanced quite nicely. So if you go over tricky, you're not going to win because you have to like
stay on the ground and boost.
Yeah, stick to your lines and find the right routes.
Yeah, but that's not necessarily skill in controls, at least.
I know, but it's
not like you're learning anything. You're learning the game mode more than how to play it.
Maybe, but it's a good way of mixing up what, you know, how you'd treat an area. You know, you don't like necessarily treat the same area the same way then, because you'll have to go down and go, right, this time I'm not going to trick off that tree.
Yeah.
Because it's going to cost me quite a bit of time. This time I'm just going to ride past it and perhaps go off with this little nodule jump rather than a massive, enormous cliff jump or something, you know, because of the speed benefit.
Yeah.
You know, it'll add variations, and that sounds quite cool.
Speaking of Tony
Plus,
Hawk,
it's supposed to be massive.
Speaking of Tony Hawk,
they're releasing the
HD
HD
pack.
remix,
Yeah.
which is actually quite tempting because I used to love Tony Hawk's 2. That was like the best.
But it's not going to have the soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
And the soundtrack was like one of the most awesome bits of that game.
I don't really remember it.
I remember the sort of... it had like guerrilla radio and stuff like
yeah,
that.
I remember
as the theme tune, and it had a number of awesome like... Did it have like Public Enemy and things like that on it? Or it had like a lot of old school rap anyway?
It had some Blink 182 or something.
No, I don't think it had Blink.
Or was that?
I think that was later.
Free.
Yeah.
I always get that confused.
It had like 99 Red Balloons, I think, and things.
Did it? Jesus.
Or
I
at least the band that did that version of it that everyone likes.
Oh right, you mean Dope? Did they do the remix of No? They did, didn't they?
I can't remember. It's like this is
ancient history,
decade-old rock music that I can't remember, even though I love.
Yeah.
But anyway, it had what's that called? Papa Roach on it.
Yeah, that was probably who I was thinking of.
Yeah, that was the big, that and Guerrilla Radio were the big sellers at the time, so they had those on it. But yeah, holy shit, that's going to be cool.
Just go on the old levels like airport or whatever it's called.
It's based on 1 and 2, isn't it? And not 3.
Yeah, I think so.
Which is awesome because 2 was the only one I played, and it was awesome. Like the school level was incredible.
Oh, the school level, that was quality. We have to grind off the bells.
Yeah.
That system was kind of weird, though, wasn't it? If you think about it, going back to Tony Hawk's, because you could even split at those 2-minute runs. Basically, were what you got, wasn't it? And in that time, you either went for score or you went for exploration.
Yeah,
the two didn't really go hand in hand unless you found like a ridiculous route. Because
they weren't meant to go hand in hand.
No, but it was just strange, wasn't it? Because you had to go like, I found this ridiculous gap, and then you spent all of your 2 minutes trying to get to it, pretty much. It was kind of frustrating, I suppose, in that respect, because if the time ran out, it's like, oh fuck, I've got to get there again.
Well, that was that was when it was like the missions to find all the gaps.
Yeah,
as like there's this one gap where you have to do like 3 other tricks to get to where that gap is.
Yeah,
and you'd spend several runs just trying to get that sequence right.
To be honest, like it didn't really matter because when you found the gap, the name of it was usually enough reward.
Yeah, cool, they were all hilarious.
Weak ass Californian gap.
Yeah. It's true, the best.
Although that was one of the easiest ones, wasn't it? Because it was a weak ass Californian gap. Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one. It'll be looking good. On a sort of similar note, have you seen what they're doing in the new Trials game?
No.
They're going all Little Big Planet on our ass.
Oh yeah,
like
crazy. The editor was already pretty fucked up for Trials HD.
Yeah, but now
they're making it even more ridiculous.
Now they're taking a real leaf out of LBP2 and making it so you can almost make completely different games out of it. Which sounds... mini belts.
Which sounds like a miniature belt. Yep.
No, but that sounds great, because Trials was a great game that I never played. You know, a lot of people really love it, and it's like best selling.
You'd like Trials, wouldn't you?
I don't know.
But it's quite expensive.
And
like that mini toy bike game you play, it's basically that, but awesome.
Okay.
When you say, are you thinking of Elastomania? You say the
Elastomania.
No, because there's a...
Because Elastomania is basically where all these came from.
There's an indie game on
right?
Xbox that she plays, which is called Toy Bike or something.
Toy Stunt Bike.
Toy Stunt Bike, which is basically the same as that.
Excellent.
More rip-offs.
Yeah.
But it's only 80 points compared to 800 points of whatever that one is.
Trials was 1200 for a very long time, so it might still be 1200.
Which is just ridiculous.
It kind of started the trend of the high price Explar title. But holy crap, it sounds like they're actually sort of like... I wondered in my head, it's like, where are they going to go with this now? Because the Trials HD was possibly the best the genre has ever seen, and it's like, where are they going to go with this?
Well, the multiplayer thing was the obvious way to go.
They didn't really... They had time trials, didn't they? But they didn't really have proper, like...
Yeah. Not that it's really...
Because it's tricky, because it's in the 2D plane, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not really...
Proper competition.
It's more like...
because you could just get stuck.
Well, it's more like time trials... It's more like Excite Bike. Where it's like time trials, but you all happen to be on the screen at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. That could be really good. That could be like a space filler for the year, I suppose, while we wait for some good games to come out.
It does look fun, but the price puts me off.
Yeah.
I don't like paying that much money for a...
1200 is quite a lot.
For a game that could potentially, I get bored of. I could potentially get bored of within a few hours.
No, I know what you mean. It's a risk, isn't it, these days, actually, with live arcade titles. I kind of miss the concept of them making just small bite-sized games. You know what I mean? Like, I'm tempted to pick up Assault Heroes, which isn't the best example of, like, Explar, don't get me wrong, but it's 400 points for a bite-sized shoot-'em-up, and it's like, that to me sounds perfect. It's like, right, nice price point, probably going to get the amount of time I expect out of it. Pretty good. Don't get me wrong, I think there are games out there that are perfectly priced. Outland for 800 points, I think, is dead on what it should be, because that took me a long time to finish. It took me like 6, maybe 7 hours of play to get through, which works out at my budget rating of £7 to 800 points, pound per hour rating as being bargain. 2 thumbs fresh.
Yeah, but you don't even play like miniature games on Steam or whatever.
No, I really should. I have more than I've played.
Well, yeah, that's true.
As is the rule on Steam.
Big piles of stupid indie games that
I have
you
quite
never
a few. I mean, speaking of which, I saw that I really like the look of Really Big Sky that released on Steam recently.
Because you're insanely into bullet hell for some reason.
I'm properly into bullet hell at the moment. I love it.
Play more Jamestown. Let's all 4 of us play Jamestown.
We should totally play 4-player Jamestown, where we've got 4 potential players that may actually play it.
Yeah, that game does look pretty fun.
Jamestown is awesome. Everyone buy Jamestown. Make
We've
more
said that
games.
so many times on this podcast.
It's my favourite bullet hell of recent times.
It's the only bullet hell of recent times, and then there were some more that happened afterwards.
True, yeah. There are some on Xbox.
Treasure still make them, don't they?
And Cave. They still make the odd one. But
If only we had actual arcades.
yeah. And the problem is they're all kind of vertical, aren't they? Like, is the thing. And they don't translate well to home machines when they go vertical.
Well, unless you can switch it to horizontal and then play
Well,
a
unless
widescreen monitor.
well, yeah, unless they can actually use the entire screen like Jamestown does, where it's still a vertical shooter, but it presents itself for widescreen,
Yeah.
which is nice. So yeah, buy Jamestown, bitches. I'm going to keep saying this. I'm going to make sure this gets tagged in every podcast. Like,
Yeah, basically.
until it becomes like best-selling game in the world. Yeah.
Beverly Bow.
Beverly Bow, play Jamestown. Bow.
Oh, it's still not quite the end.
Yeah, so we've got like 5 minutes to talk about shit. Any more skeptic?
I'm hungry.
Wait, skeptic?
This is going to give us hungry.
Yeah, what are you going
yeah.
to eat?
Yeah.
I presume you've already talked about that before, but the HD remake of Jet Set Radio.
You're going to
we
eat
haven't
that.
mentioned that. That was
No,
that's
I guess
happened in
not.
the last week. So,
Oh, was it?
Yeah. Yes, that's news!
Go
Let's
back
go
to
back
the
2 hours. News! Yeah, that's Jet Set Radio HD, which is a remake of the Dreamcast original.
Probably also not going to have the soundtrack.
No, again, it's been rumoured that they can't get hold of, because that does have a lot of licensed stuff. I think it's likely that some of the Hideki Naganuma, will still be about, because, he kind of worked for Sega for a long time.
But then again, they used like samples and shit.
Yeah.
That's another whole other problem.
Basically, that game will be ruined if most of the soundtrack got. Well, yeah, what are they going to do? Because there's the other things, aren't they? Like, I forget. There's that Japanese band in it, mostly Japanese.
Very specific.
But there's that. What is it? Guitar Vader.
Yeah,
that's
that
it.
one.
Because they might not be able to get the licensing for that anymore. It's like, yeah, it could be a nightmare because they couldn't get the licensing for Crazy Taxi.
Yeah.
So they had to replace all the Offspring soundtrack with something else, which probably isn't a bad thing.
Yeah.
Well, as long as it fits. I mean,
And in theory, you could just play your own music while playing it anyway.
True. You could just put the Jet Set Radio Future
Exactly,
soundtrack
yeah.
on it, and then
I guess that is that is sort of the solution to that problem on the Xbox. Just download the MP3s and put
But
them on your
you know what the
Xbox.
real solution would be is make another Jet Set Radio. Just make a new one.
Yes.
Because damn, that game is sweet.
Well,
Okay, it's not really. It was never really about the gameplay, was it?
the original wasn't that great.
No, and to be honest,
It's fucking difficult to play.
and to be honest, when you think about it, the sequel was quite flawed in many ways because it was just that was quite a lot easier. Like,
Well, yeah, it was the classic thing with Jet Set Radio, where it's like the first one was too complicated, and the second one they simplified it too much.
yeah,
It's like doing the awesome stick motions to do spray painting was kind of cool, but it was actually really annoying.
when the
But then
cops caught up with you and you're like, "This is the last bit of graffiti on the level, and every cop is here."
Yeah.
It's like, well, how the fuck do I get them to move on?
But then in future, it was just like, mash button!
Yeah, just hold down trigger while you go past it, and it will spray for you. And it lost something in that, but partly because you lost the cool beer. Yeah,
Yeah, that was the best part of spraying shit.
Sega are kind of, with the exception of their return to form with Sonic,
Yeah.
Sega are kind of losing points for me at the moment because they ruined Monkey Ball,
Well, did that happen before Sonic?
and that happened a long time ago.
That's not recently.
That happened with Wii Monkey Ball. They started going downhill from there. But they're taking what I mean by this is they're either publishing shit movie games, which now seems to be Sega's bag.
Oh, Battleship, that's going to be funny.
Oh my god, yeah, Battleship. Seriously, what the fuck? A game of a movie of the game that has nothing to do with
the actual
anything.
game.
So retarded.
Because there was that rumour, like...
That's like Street Fighter, the movie, the game of the movie.
That actually got made, though, didn't it?
That got made.
That was pretty funny.
exists. It's retarded.
Pixelated Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Exactly.
But there was that rumour a few years ago that they were going to do an Asteroids movie.
Oh, yeah.
And that would have been a sweet game.
That could have been really funny. You'd just be like Armageddon, but in space or something.
Yeah.
There's loads of
Wait,
retarded
hang on.
movies, like a Pac-Man movie and things like that.
And they were going to do a Crazy Taxi movie at one point.
That could actually work, though, but then it was already been done and it was called Taxi.
Yeah, I guess. Or any of the other ridiculous card
Pretty
rating
sure the
films,
game was based
Fast
on
and
the
Furious.
film. Loosely, without any branding. And wasn't French.
and quite so much swearing.
Oh man, Taxi. Although it's a French film, that is a great film.
That's a good qualifier to put there. It was French, but I liked it.
You got to be careful. I mean, French is usually a bad thing. That's true. Unless it's got Ubisoft on it, it's usually a markdown. So I've got 60 seconds to wrap this up.
Yep, that was good. Good times.
Can you mark down Sega for anything else?
Not making consoles anymore.
Yeah,
Boo.
Make more arcades for some reason.
Yeah,
So you can lose lots of money. So welcome
welcome to the end.
welcome to the end of the episode 52, is it? Of the Saladcast?
Something like that.
52. We've got a year of casts.
Sort of.
55.
In weeks.
Yeah.
55. Thank you for joining us. Thank you to our special guests for being here.
Special guest.
For being mighty special indeed. Sorry to Dan for not being here and us doing this anyway. Ha!
And take the piss out of him again.
Yeah, we do that.
Mm.
And I hope to catch you next time. Say bye!
Bye!
Party popper.